All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome. If you are new here, thank you guys so much for joining me today and waiting patiently, as always, for the intro to finish up. I hope everybody's doing well today. Cory, he wants to feed the beast. Well, the beast is here. He's right below me here. Tarnished, what's going on? Irfin. Cerny the goat. Daniel says he's concerned about the RAM issues with Micron leaving. Yeah, a little concerning. And Cory comes in. He was waiting. He drops 5 membership gifts for you guys. Cory does what he does. And we know why he does it.
I'm no hero. Never
we
was.
Know why he does it.
Never will be.
Boss is here. He's right below me here. Cory, thank you for the 5 gifted. I'll add that to the counter. You guys know the deal. We hit 25. We'll feed the beast. We have a new feeding area. I guess this will have to suffice. New feeding area. Mini Tom, what's going on? Petrov. Yeah, and if you receive a membership gift today, or if you become a member, make sure you go check out the recent Members Lounge we did. We reacted to a couple of videos, PS5 Pro videos, and a random video about greed. I don't know, it's an interesting one. Whiskey Gaming, what's going on, man? Yeah, let me just add that to the counter here. There we go. All right, so what's the setup back there? Yeah, what do you think? What do you guys think of the setup? Changing it up again. Do you know what went into this? Do you have any idea? I did some heavy lifting. Did some heavy lifting myself. I like it too. Looks cozy. I was kind of going for that vibe. You know, when we do like morning with the missus, I think Mrs. MBG will be able to appreciate just chilling on the sofa here. That's a chair on the left. By the way, yeah, the very back is a green screen. Okay. It is a green screen. So yeah. New year, new setup. 2026, maybe instead of posters and foam panels, wooden panels? Wonder what that would sound like. Wooden panels. I never thought of that. Would that sound good or bad? I'm not sure. They probably look cool though. And we have Schmidt GT coming in, renewing his membership. So Cory dropped 5 for you guys, and Schmidt's like, you know what? It's time to renew, boys. Schmidt, thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'll add that to the counter. So that brings us to 6. Thank you. He's saluting. He's renewing for the MBG Army. Wait, you play here in the background? You change your gaming room to here? Tarnished, I can't reveal my secrets. Okay, for all you know, this might not even be real. It might just be green screen. I'll let you guys determine. But yeah, guys, we're going to go over a rundown of the topics. Yeah, AI. The entire stream's AI now. We're going to be talking about a PSSR update that we've been hearing about that's apparently coming in 2026. And, you know, we've talked about this in the past, but now we're hearing from a reliable insider that this update's actually pretty huge. Like, this is a big leap forward for PSSR, bigger than I think maybe we were thinking. And it could have some profound effects on upcoming games in terms of how they end up looking and running on the PS5 Pro. And we're also going to be talking about the big one here, which is WB was officially acquired by Netflix for, I think, $82 billion, which is nuts. So we're going to talk about that and the implications of, you know, the entire WB gaming sector now being owned by Netflix. This means the Hogwarts Legacy sequel, Mortal Kombat, Batman, future Batman games, Lord of the Rings, all that stuff. It's now going to be owned by Netflix. So I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing. We'll talk about it. Yeah, I agree. The amount they paid for it is absurd. Finally, Netflix did it. Yeah, we were hearing about WB getting acquired for some time now, and I guess this was it, you know? Sorry, Luna seems like she's doing something weird over there. And we're also going to talk about Resident Evil, finally. I know I said we were going to talk about it the other day and then didn't, but we are getting the official confirmation that Resident Evil 9 is going to show up at the Game Awards with a new trailer, and I think it's time. I think it's time to see Leon. So we'll talk about that as well. HBO Max included as well. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, and that's interesting to think. I wonder how they're going to do that. Yeah, I think Leon's coming, guys. I think this is it. I think this is finally the big reveal for Leon, and it's going to be really exciting. But yeah, before we dive into these topics, guys, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you enjoy the streams and you enjoy the content on the channel and you want to help it out, take a moment, hit that like button. It helps more than you know. And if you want to support the channel directly, we are completely fan-funded. I can only do what I do here because you guys make it possible. Consider becoming a member and supporting that content month over month, or consider gifting memberships like Cory has done. And if we hit 25, we'll feed the beast. Luna's over here exploring. We'll give boss a couple treats. And I still have to bring my dumbbells up. I have more space now. So, you know, when we get to those points where we hit 50 members, I could start doing reps again more effectively. Probably still risking destroying something. But yeah, appreciate all the support you guys show the channel and the community. Again, I can only do this because you guys make it possible. And I'm very grateful for that. So thank you. Luna, why do you have to be so ominous over there? She's freaking me out. Heard the Silent Hill 1 remake will be at the Game Awards as well. Yeah, I saw that rumor too. That'll be awesome. I'm really excited to see that, man. I think the idea is people are expecting a game like Silent Hill 1 remake to be super early in development, like it's years away. I'm not so sure. I mean, it might still be a year or two away, but I don't know that it's going to be like a next-gen game because apparently we heard shortly after the reveal from a reliable source, I think it was Dusk Golem, if I'm not mistaken, they claimed that this game was actually in development for like 3 years already. So this game might be much closer to being done than we think, which is very exciting because, dude, Silent Hill 2 Remake was incredible. That was my game of the year last year, and Bloober Team really proved that they know what they're doing when it comes to the remakes. So wonder how much they'll increase the price for Netflix once they merge HBO Max. It's going to be nuts. Yeah. I mean, Netflix is already expensive. I'm not even subscribed at the moment. I mean, I purposely unsubscribed because I'm like, I don't use this enough to justify paying as much as they're asking month over month. But we need bigger cat towers, like a cat tower playground. Yeah, that's definitely what we need. That'd be so chaotic. You'll have Luna jumping on top of my head when I least expect it. Robert, what's going on, man? Chasing Everything is asking, what did I miss? You didn't miss anything yet. We're about to dive into the first topic, which is the big PSSR update. Apparently this update's going to be huge. Just came across this. Batman Part 2 might go to Netflix day one. I saw that they're casting apparently Scarlett Johansson as Catwoman, which is interesting. Like, I think she'd make a good Catwoman. But yeah, I was surprised to see that. Yeah, I guess we'll see what they do. Now, keep in mind, there's a new Batman game in development. Rocksteady is working on a new Batman game, but we heard that Sony apparently was trying to lock it down as a PS5 exclusive or potentially a PlayStation 6 exclusive, or just, you know, lock it down as like a console exclusive. Not sure if they actually did that or not, but yeah, man, it's going to be really interesting. But we'll start here with the PSSR update. I came across this on, I think it's the Game Post. Let me see, where does it talk about it? I gotta scroll down here. Sorry, this is a long article. I'm trying to get to the The part about PSSR. Not yet. Not yet. Jeez, this is a lot longer than I thought. Okay, you know what? I got an idea. We'll do this instead. We'll just play the clip from Moore's Law is Dead if they have it. Here we go. We'll just play the clip. I don't think it's too long. We'll hear exactly what he has to say. Let me just make sure I'm muted here.
This is another developer that spoke with me this week. This person said, I, a game dev, have a few PSSR updates for you. One, there is an application called PSML Replay that Sony has given us for debugging glitches that pop up from PSSR. So Sony is aware that there are multiple big releases that have PSSR artifacting issues. Think of games like Silent Hill F, people, and they are working on it. In fact, and this was a funny quote, this person told me this, and I followed up. I'm like, really? They said yes. In fact, by now, Sony has more tools for PSSR support than AMD does for FSR 3 or FSR 4.
So that's kind of a surprise to be hearing about from Moore's Law is Dead. According to his source, I was just playing the audio of it. According to his source, PSSR now has more tools to go with it. I'm assuming the update, like the big 2.0 update for PSSR, they have more tools for that than AMD does for FSR 3 and FSR 4. So that's quite surprising because one of the things, as we continue to listen to what he has to say, one of the things that seems to be clear with PSSR, Sony really is trying to, I guess, one-up AMD. Like, Mark Cerny and his team want to try to make PSSR better than FSR. And that's really fascinating to me. And the fact that they already have more tools, I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing. I'm assuming that's a good thing. The more tools, the better, I suppose. What is this? Hold on. We might have a little side quest here. Oh, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me, bro. Oh, hold on. Okay, we got a little side quest here. We got a little side quest. And Cory the Legend Landiga, he comes in. He drops another 10 membership gifts for you guys. As Boss is making himself comfortable, he's getting in position for those treats. Cory drops 10 more for the community. Cory, bro, thank you so much for that. Cory says he wants to do some heavy lifting today as well. Yeah, my back is feeling it, dude. Let me tell you. I was doing some heavy lifting earlier, and I think I tweaked something in my lower back, which sucks. But W's in the chat for Cory. He brings us up to 16 on the day, and we're very close now, guys. Now, listen, Cory just dropped 15. I'm going to give Boss his treats now, okay? It's the least I could do for you, Cory. You do a lot for the community. But we do have an interesting update here with this statue situation with the Game Awards. Apparently, the official Game Awards account tweeted something else. Oh, and this is for Boss.
Boss, do you read me? It's time to feed the beast.
All right. Here goes. Oh, Luna knows what it means now, too. Luna knows what it means now. As soon as she heard that, she sprinted in. I'll give her a couple, too. Here you go, Luna. There you go. All right. Yeah, Cory, again, thank you so much, man. Schmidt with a £2 super chat says, Ayo, new setup? Just noticed. Yes. It's not, I mean, it's funny because I think some people might not notice it immediately because it does in many ways look very similar to the last setup. It's the same in many ways, but there's some different additions, some new additions, and I don't know how it looks to you guys, but what went into this was a lot. So I just hope you think it looks good. That's all that matters. Oh man, Radic, don't say that, bro. Don't say that. Rip WB. Yeah, so before we continue with the PSSR update, over on Twitter, man, that's very bright. I'm gonna have to start using dark mode. It's blinding. So again, Jeff Keighley posted a zoomed in picture of the statue. He said regal, inspiring thickness. Now, the Game Awards posted underneath, the official Game Awards Twitter account posted underneath Jeff Keighley's account saying the blank are silent. Blank bleeds. New blank stir. What could it mean? I'll post it in the chat. This is what he posted, or the Game Awards account. This is what it said. What could it mean? What is he teasing? You still think it's God of War? The trees are silent. Midgard bleeds. New gods stir. Man, you guys are... You're not letting Cory off the hook. Cory Barlog, that is. I wonder if all the blanks are the same word. Castlevania game. New IP for sure. Blade. Wait, why would we think this is Blade? Ray, that's the first time I've seen somebody say it's Blade. Lords of the Fallen. Some people believe it's Lords of the Fallen 2. Oh, yeah, Irfan, I see somebody said the trees are silent, Midgard bleeds, new gods stir. The gods are silent, Kratos bleeds, new demons stir. People really want this to be God of War. Dude, it's getting to a point where the amount of people wanting this to be God of War, I feel a little bit bad for whatever it actually ends up being, because it's like, do you guys realize you made everybody think this was God of War? or Cory Barlog's game? It's interesting marketing. I agree. You're saying Lords of the Fallen is a mid-game. They don't have the budget for marketing like this. Well, I guess it depends if that's where they wanted to put their budget, right? If they wanted to put most of their budget into the marketing, it could be. It could be. I don't know. The same people were crying, no more God of War just a week ago. We'll see. Yeah, we're really close to the Game Awards now. We're like 1 week away, so... You still think... Titus, I don't think it's Diablo 4, man. Jason Schreier, he came out and said it's not Diablo 4. He said it's not Diablo 4, it's not Elder Scrolls. Wait, can you see that? He's on a leash. Bro's got... Boss, come on, get over here, man. I even gave you like a blanket. Come on. Come over here. Or you, Luna. That's fine. I think Luna just thinks you get more treats. Sorry. I mean, yeah, I don't... If it was like something like Lords of the Fallen, I don't think that would be very exciting, to be honest. It's like cool marketing, but I don't know. I played Lords of the Fallen, and I wasn't impressed with it. Like, I appreciated certainly some of the stuff that they were doing. There was something about the feel of the game that just didn't click with me. So if that's what this is for, I'll be quite disappointed. Doesn't the statue resemble a boss from Saros a little bit? Yeah, I saw people pointing that out. I saw that too. If it ends up being for Saros, I would be excited for that. Saros, it would be cool to see Sony do such a big marketing push for Saros. I'd be a little bit surprised by that, but I'd be like, awesome, it probably deserves it, you know? And we have Hayden Capoletti, member for 31 months. He says, hey, MBG, love your streams. I watch your streams after you go live. What happened to your stream yesterday, and will this stream be delisted? This stream will not be delisted. I ended up delisting yesterday's stream because I was not feeling well. I was this close to canceling the stream before I went live, and I made probably the unwise decision to just go through with it, even though I really was not feeling good. And the stream only ended up being like an hour and 20 minutes, and I had to end it because I was getting a migraine. So I do apologize for that, Hayden. We'll actually talk about the topic. Yesterday's stream, we only covered one topic. We will talk about that topic again today. It has to do with the new partnership that Sony announced. But yeah, yesterday it was not a good day yesterday, so apologies. But no, you don't have to worry. The stream's not going to get delisted. I'm feeling a lot better today, luckily. No headache as of right now. I don't know, the heat's been running a lot more. I think it's like an allergy, potentially dust allergy. I'm not sure. Every winter, once it really starts getting cold outside and the heat starts running more often. I do change my filter, by the way, because I know people are going to mention that. I do keep up with that. But it's just, it's kind of normal. It's been happening my whole life. But yeah, I'm feeling better today. So that's good. But Hayden, thank you for your support, by the way. I appreciate the fact that you watch all my streams. And again, I do apologize. Occasionally some streams go unlisted, but that's not the usual thing that happens on the channel. Yeah, Irfan, when it comes to that, I have to take a new approach to any event stream that I do, where I had to remove some of those past ones because they were getting hit with copyright claims. I think like some of these streams had, I'm not even kidding, like 40 to 45 copyright claims to where it's like, it's kind of not good to have that on the channel. And it was just too overwhelming to try to manually remove them. But going forward, as long as I keep up with it, I should be able to keep all of my past streams. The problem with it is certain sections of the stream have to end up getting silenced or trimmed out. And luckily, YouTube now has a built-in feature where I can do that. But yeah, it can be overwhelming with some of these events, certainly. Yeah, I just posted about that. What Jeff Keighley said about the statue or the official Game Awards account. It's Kojima's Silent Hills confirmed. It's actually going to be abandoned. The amount of people I saw saying that that's what it is, I'm like, bro. Anyway, getting back on topic here. Yeah, some people still think it's going to be Half-Life 3. Getting back to the PSSR update. So we were just listening to what Moore's Law is Dead was saying. Moore's Law is Dead is giving us a report on the upcoming PSSR update for the PS5 Pro, which is also going to be relevant for the PlayStation 6 as well. And we know that Moore's Law is Dead. He has very good sources inside of Sony or people who are working with AMD/Sony. And the first thing that he revealed here is that apparently PSSR, the next iteration of it, is going to have more updates, more tools for developers to use than AMD has for FSR 3 and FSR 4.
Yeah, but what about the Nemesis system, bro? People gotta ask the real questions here.
Oh, yeah. Moonshot. That's a good question. Yeah, we didn't talk too much about the acquisition yet, but every time we talk about WB and their studios, I mean, unfortunately, Monolith is shut down. So they're not around anymore, which sucks because they were a pretty talented studio. But they were the ones who made the Nemesis system. And WB, I think, patented the system, which is crazy. So nobody else could use it. I don't know. Will Netflix choose to do something with it? Maybe they'll license it out? Perhaps. I don't know. But that's a good question. I think we want to see more games that utilize something like the Nemesis system. I think it has to work for the game. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if you end up seeing something like the Nemesis system maybe perhaps in the next Batman game. I feel like it could make sense there. It'd be pretty cool. But yeah, it's a good question, Josh. We'll have to see. There's a lot that I think might change with WB games now that Netflix is going to own them. MBG, don't you find it very strange that Cory Barlog disappeared for months, maybe even a year, only to suddenly reappear to deny a rumor during Game of the Year month? Seems odd to me. Oh, yeah. No, I agree 100%. I'm on to you, Cory. Not you in the chat, Cory. Cory Barlog. I'm on to you. We're all on to you. He's just a busy guy. He's a busy guy. But he definitely took time out of his day to go to Luke Stevens' channel and be like, hey, by the way, it's interesting. It's embarrassing they allowed the Nemesis system to be patented. Yeah, not a good look. But let me play the rest of this Moore's Law is Dead clip. Again, this is about PSSR, the big update, which I guess we'll call PSSR 2.0. Continue on here. Let me just mute my mic so it doesn't bleed through.
So that tells me that these glitches with PSSR on PS5 Pro versions of games, that they're about to get a lot less prevalent, and the quality is about to go up a ton next year when PSSR 2 comes out. Point number 2, something called multi-frame super resolution 2, or MFSR 2. And I saw in documentation both of these. Sometimes they would write out the whole thing, multi-frame super resolution 2, or they would write out MFSR 2, is now referenced in documents that they have access to. And I saw some of these documents. Now, to be clear, MFSR is what Sony calls PSSR behind the scenes. It's kind of like AMD calling C cores dense cores. A lot of documentation will still say Zen 6 dense instead of Zen 6C. MFSR is what Sony and developers call PSSR behind the scenes. So the fact that there is now documents called MFSR2 tells you that what I leaked earlier this year is holding true. It's not just that PSSR is going to get an update next year. It's going to be PSSR 2, a massive overhaul. Now,
Man, this is sounding pretty big. And we have Hellbound. Hellbound comes in. He saw Cory was doing some heavy lifting. Hellbound comes in. He drops another 5 membership gifts for you guys. Hellbound, you know I appreciate it, buddy. Let's get some more W's in the chat. Hellbound's always here, always helping us out. And that brings us to, where are we at? 21 members now, guys. So we're 4 away from hitting the first goal. Again, I greatly appreciate that, guys. We'll see if we can hit that 25. One more 5 does it. One more 5, and we'll get over the 25 mark. I see Keep Gaming 1302 is trying to troll us. He's trying to get us to believe that Cory Barlog is, in fact, in the chat saying, it's not God of War. Get over it, guys. It's like it's actually Cory Barlog's alt account. And Schmidt GT comes in. He renewed his membership, and he says, you know what? I'm going to drop 5 gifts for the community as well. So we have 5 more memberships gifted from Schmidt GT. So I'm going to play this soundbite for Hellbound first. And Schmidt, I'm going to give you a Herman Holst, because I know you just love Herman. He's your favorite.
This is an incredibly exciting time for PlayStation.
I want to alter that soundbite where after he says that, there's just a honk sound. You know? Just going to throw a honk in there. But Schmidt, thank you so much for dropping 5 more member gifts after renewing your membership. It's incredibly exciting. That brings us to 26. So the first goal is crushed. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for that. And as we continue throughout the stream, if you want to drop more gifts, other people want to get involved, show support, feel free to do so. We'll see if we can make our way to hitting a second goal at some point. All right. Let's continue on with what. So before I actually continue playing the clip, Moore's Law is Dead is saying that internally Sony references PSSR as MFSR2, which stands for Multi-Frame Super Resolution 2. It says, let me see, apparently uses an updated algorithm that, quote, reduces the need for some pieces of input data, end quote, decreases the amount of memory used, end quote, shortens GPU processing times, end quote, while delivering allegedly better image quality. It uses an entirely new API as well. This is not the same, quote, 0.5, end quote, upgrade. It's huge. Damn. Okay, well, let's keep it going. I'll let him finish saying what he's going to say here. This is sounding pretty, I think, really quick, before I continue playing this, I just think it's so crazy that this update is not going to be applicable to the base PS5, because the base PS5 is not capable of running PSSR. It really goes to show that the Pro is kind of getting future-proofed in real time, but as time goes on, like the gap between what we're seeing on the PS5 Pro versus what we're seeing on on the base PS5, it's going to continue to widen.
Apparently, continuing with this quote here, MFSR2 uses an updated algorithm that reduces the need for some pieces of input data, decreases the amount of memory used, and shortens GPU processing times while delivering, allegedly, according to Sony, better image quality. And it uses an entirely new API too. It's not some 0.5 upgrade. It's huge. This is going to be like FSR3 to FSR4. And I want to be clear, that is what they are saying behind the scenes. This should be like the quality increase, PSSR1 to PSSR2, like FSR3 to FSR4. It's not just like a checkbox thing. The devs actually have to patch their game and use a new API. It is a complete overhaul of PSSR. Final point here, which I found very interesting. FSR4 and FSR3 continue to be mentioned separately of PSSR. PSSR therefore remains its own path. No, AMD and Sony are not going to get rid of PSSR and use FSR4 from now on PS5 Pro. PSSR, PSSR2, presumably with PlayStation 6 PSSR3, these are going to be things that Sony continues to develop to compete with FSR and DLSS on their own. They don't want to have to rely on AMD. They're happy that AMD is going to add FSR4 support to PS5 Pro next year, and they are. But they want to still have their own thing. They want to match or beat FSR4, I'm told, as well. So I think this is actually very exciting. Let me close this there now.
Yeah, so I'm curious, does any of this surprise you guys? Because I will say, what's interesting about what Moore's Law is telling us based off his source is it does make something crystal clear, which I think every time we've heard Mark Cerny talk about the big PSSR update that's coming next year, something that, I mean, personally, I think Mark made it clear, but, you know, we're kind of getting a re-emphasis of this from Moore's Law is dead as source. It's like his source is Mark Cerny. A lot of people walked away from what Mark Cerny said and said, so we're just getting FSR4. That's what it is. And I think it's because Mark Cerny said, like, when PSSR2 or the next version of PSSR comes out, it's going to be, quote, the full fat version of FSR4. And it's understandable why people would be confused by that. They interpret that as like, so you're replacing PSSR with FSR4. And what Moore's Law is dead is saying is, no, that's not the case. What's actually happening here is Sony is keeping PSSR completely separate from FSR and is actually trying to produce better results. They hope, now we don't know if this is going to happen or if it has happened or not. We'll have to wait to see the update ourselves. But the hope is they actually want to do better than what AMD is doing with FSR4. And that's going to be, I'll tell you what, if they pull that off, if Sony's able to come out and be like, hey, here's the big PSSR 2.0 update rolling out for the PS5 Pro, and it somehow beats FSR4, that would be shocking. I'm not necessarily anticipating that. I appreciate the ambition, though. I think it goes to show that Mark Cerny and his team, you know, at Sony, they're very serious about trying to do their own thing. And, you know, as Moore's Law is dead said, Sony doesn't want to have to rely on AMD's, you know, FSR. They're still going to bring it to console. Like FSR4 will be available to use by developers, but it's interesting because I think this provides a certain level of clarity that I think what Sony is hoping to achieve with PSSR, and whether or not they will remains to be seen. It's going to take years before we know. But what they seemingly hope to achieve is creating an AI upscaler, a machine learning upscaler that is going to be much more appealing to all developers than, say, something like FSR4 or in the future, FSR5. It's a big task. AMD is very good at what they do. FSR4 is very good. It's important to note here that one of the things that Moore's Law is dead was saying and putting emphasis on is how, you know, just like with FSR3 to FSR4, it was a massive overhaul. Huge change. It's very similar, or even exactly the same with PSSR1 to PSSR2, where this is like a big leap forward. And for those who are unaware, FSR4 has produced very good results. Like, they're seemingly beginning to catch up with NVIDIA, and you can kind of see, like, everything's starting to hit this kind of new plateau, I guess you could say, this next level. And it's just cool to see that PSSR is going to stand as its own thing, and it's apparently going to do that as well. And, the game that everybody thinks of, like we know games like Wolverine and Saros and first-party titles, we know that they're going to take full advantage of PSSR. I mean, I see what Sucker Punch did with Ghost of Yotei with the ray tracing pro mode, and I'm like, all right, like this is fantastic. It's interesting to think how far could they take it with implementing something like PSSR 2. But I think we all kind of think about a game like GTA 6. It's hard not to think about that game. What could GTA 6 pull off on the PS5 Pro with this next iteration of PSSR? We do know that PSSR has had some issues with some engines and certainly some games that have tried to use it. I mean, I'm still playing Metal Gear Solid Delta, and that was a game that struggled with it, And that's not the only developer. There have been multiple developers on record having a bit of a hard time. So the hope is that this next iteration of PSSR will not only rectify that and make it so that this is just very easy for all developers to use and implement with their game engines, but that the results will be even better, hopefully substantially better than what we see now. We have Armani, Pepsi Coleman saying, I really hope Rise of Hydra shows at the Game Awards in less than a week, and we should get our first actual gameplay trailer for Rise of Hydra. Indeed, Armani. Obligatory Armani, Pepsi Coleman super chat letting us know that he's ready. He's been ready, and he's been waiting. Will we get that Rise of Hydra trailer? It's still a coin flip. I think the timing is good. The timing would make sense. But we haven't heard anything. So we will see Armani. We'll be watching it together. I'll give you a shout out. If we get that Rise of Hydra trailer, I'll be like, there's Armani. There's Armani's. There's his game. But I appreciate the super chat, buddy. Mostly UE5 games. Yeah, that seems to be the case, Petrov. And I wonder how this next iteration of PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, I wonder how better suited it will be to be implemented into Unreal Engine 5 games by developers, because that does seem to be the kind of, I mean, look, we've seen in, for example, Silent Hill 2 Remake, they implemented PSSR and it just wasn't working very well. And so they gave you the option. I don't even know if they gave you the option. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But I know that they ended up putting, I think, TSR, which is Unreal Engine 5's AI upscaler. And I think it still has a couple of issues, but it was working better than PSSR. And I think that's what Sony's trying to figure out, is how to make, because you know that Sony's, again, first-party studios are going to do great things with PSSR, but I think they're really in the process of trying to figure out how do we make it so that all developers across all engines can do amazing things with this, to where it's not just like our own studios.
So a massive PS5 Pro update which will massively improve it. Just in time for the PS6. Makes perfect sense. Hashtag PS62,030.
Oh, I love how it said PS62,030. That's amazing. Yeah, so that's kind of the thing here, right, Josh? You're pointing something out that I do believe needs to be pointed out, which is Sony's about to make, apparently, the PlayStation 5 Pro immensely better with this PSSR 2.0 update in 2026. And it's interesting that it's dropping in 2026 because, yes, the PlayStation 6 is seemingly going to be dropping in 2027. Now, I posted about this on Twitter, about the PlayStation 6 releasing in 27, and somebody responded and they were like, well, Sony didn't officially confirm that yet. And that's true. And we do need to acknowledge that. Sony has not come out and said we are releasing the PS6 in 2027. It's just that as of right now, every single piece of leaked documentation and every single rumor we've heard all says the same thing, and that is apparently internally Sony wants to release the PS6 in holiday of 2027, and that is their plan. And certain individuals behind the scenes, or insiders, I should say, that have insight into behind the scenes, they've even went on record saying that it's unlikely Sony's plans will change unless there's some kind of like emergency situation where they have no choice but to delay it. And actually, if you look at what's going on, that might be the situation. I'm not entirely sure yet. You know, I haven't been talking too much about the RAM situation because I don't know how Sony's going to handle this. We just have to kind of be ready for things to maybe not go in a great direction for a little bit of time. By that I mean more price increases, which sucks. But yeah, I mean, Josh, we've talked extensively about the timing of the PlayStation 6 release, and I have to admit, like, I got my PS5 Pro right here. I love my PS5 Pro. Sony telling me that we're putting out an update for your console that any developer that chooses to leverage PSSR 2 in 2026, 2027, and beyond, games are going to look maybe as good or better than what Ghost of Yotei looks like running on your Pro. I won't lie to you. It makes it difficult for me to find the appeal of like, oh yeah, I'm excited to upgrade to the PS6. Like, I'm in a bit of a different situation where, like, I have a YouTube channel that covers PlayStation, so it would help my channel to cover the PS6. But putting that aside, viewing it just from a player perspective, yeah, I look at this and I'm like, Sony, I really got to see what you're going to offer with the PS6 because, dude, the PS5 Pro is a great console. And the fact that it's going to just get better literally next year, I don't know, man. You're going to have to show me something real good with the PS6. But that's where I do wonder, Josh, if the whole idea here is, well, actually, that's okay, MBG. We kind of anticipated that maybe as a PS5 Pro owner, maybe you're too comfortable with the Pro, and maybe you're going to wait for the PS6. So instead, we're going to offer you a native handheld. Maybe a situation like that is what Sony's kind of hoping for, because I'll tell you this, I'm somebody who actually has a reason to be a day one adopter of the PlayStation 6 if it comes out in 2027. That reason is I have a YouTube channel, I can cover it on my channel, and I can justify it. I see so many people that feel the exact way you do, Josh. I see so many people where they're like, dude, the PS5 is just fine. Feels like this generation is just getting started, or especially people who have the PS5 Pro, they're like, this thing's great. It feels like the Pro isn't even being fully taken advantage of yet. And they're like, I don't feel the need to get a PS6. Now, granted, they're saying that in December of 2025. Will they feel completely differently come November 2027? Perhaps. But at the rate things are going, I'm going to say probably not dramatically different. I don't think many people are going to just suddenly change their mind. But then we have to see how Sony's going to market it and everything. And we don't know, like, again, what they're going to show off. So that could be the big difference maker where suddenly everybody who was doubting the PS6 and said, I don't need one, they're going to completely change their tune and be like, oh, the PS6 looks amazing, I need to get that. But it's just hard to imagine that when Sony's like, hey, we're about to make your Pro a lot better. So yeah, it is an interesting situation, Josh. Many, many people believe that Sony should delay the PlayStation 6. And I'll be honest, with the way things are going with RAM now, where if you look back at the PS5, Sony's biggest problem was not that people didn't want it, not that people weren't excited to upgrade. Their biggest problem was we can't produce these things. The demand is through the roof. The demand is higher than it's ever been. We can't meet it because we can't produce them because there's a component shortage that we can't do anything about. And it took 2 years for that to correct itself. Now it seems like leading into the PlayStation 6 generation, the new issue is going to be not a shortage, but I guess it would technically be a shortage, but an increase in price of RAM substantially because of the demand. You know, you have data centers that are apparently going to account for like 60% of the entire output of RAM production. So whatever's left, everybody's going to be kind of fighting for. And because of that, the prices are going to surge. And I have to imagine, like, look, even if Sony doesn't get their, because we just saw that Micron said we are leaving the consumer market. I could be wrong about this, but I think that they could still be a supplier to Sony. I'm not sure, but they're saying they're leaving the consumer market. when it comes to selling RAM. They're like shuttering their consumer-facing branding, and it's because they want to supply data centers now. There's only, as far as I'm aware, there's only 3 major RAM manufacturers. There's Micron, and I think there's Samsung. I think Samsung is one. And the other, something Hynix or something, I forget the name, but those are the only 3. And one of them just said, yeah, we're just going to focus on data centers now. So, yeah, and that's kind of the problem, David. You're highlighting. You're saying delaying it is not going to make it cheaper. It depends. It depends. Like, it may get cheaper if these situations kind of relax a little bit, right? And I guess what I'm just saying is, like, it's going to be a problem if Sony decides they want to launch a PS6 when the pricing, like, they either have to take a major loss because RAM is just that expensive, or they're going to have to price it way higher than they wanted to. To whereas, like, if you wait a year, the RAM situation might go away. Once all these data centers are built, and suddenly, you know, the demand isn't nearly as high, the prices of RAM go down or stabilize, maybe then. So you could kind of see how it's possible that it could get cheaper, but I'm not sure. MBG, this is an existential level risk for the console market at a price normal people can't afford because this is the new normal. It will only ramp up. Yeah, a lot of people seem to think that this is kind of what we're looking at. And not to get into a long-winded conversation about next gen again, but it's hard not to think about that when we're talking about a massive PSSR update that's coming next year. I mean, you have to kind of imagine that worst case scenario, the PS5 is the be-all end-all for Sony. And I'm just saying worst case as in, like, that's kind of where it stops. Where, yes, there will be a PlayStation 6 home console. It will be expensive, and it will be better than the PS5 and the PS5 Pro. But this idea of we're going to move forward, like we're gonna like truck ahead. No, we can't. I feel like Sony's trying to do that. I feel like Sony wants to do that with the PlayStation 6.
I don't think Sony is looking at it like you're too comfortable on the Pro, considering they just launched it and are about to improve it massively.
Moonshot, you're saying, I don't think Sony's looking at it like you're too comfortable on the Pro, considering they just launched it and are about to improve it. Well, that's why I'm saying, like, Sony's the one doing this. Like Sony's giving me a reason to say maybe just stay on the Pro. Now, granted, they haven't given me a reason to upgrade to the PS6 because they haven't even acknowledged its existence yet. For all I know, all of us are going to tune in June 2027 to the PS6 showcase and be like, it ain't even a question. That's actually there's a high possibility of that happening. It just seems like that's not possible right now. Because, yeah, dude, the PS5 Pro is only a year old. I mean, if you think about it, if you bought a PS5 Pro at launch in November of 2024, and then the PS6 is going to launch November 2027, that's 3 years with the Pro. There may be more people than we think that are like, that's actually more than enough time. I'm ready to move on now. I mean, considering the enthusiast probably bought the Pro, you know? The enthusiast who says, yes, I know not every game's going to be upgraded. I know not everything's going to be better, but I want what is going to be better. I will upgrade to that. Yeah, MRPD, that's exactly what it was, bro. That's exactly what it was. Thank you for acknowledging it. And we have Armani Coleman with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, I was seeing 007 First Light. James Bond is strong. Not saying he's superhuman, but he's throwing people around so easily. No, he's superhuman, bro. Armani needs to know. He's like, listen, is James Bond superhuman or what? Like, is this guy a superhero or what? No, I mean, he's James Bond. He basically is. Right? I mean, when I saw the James Bond gameplay and I watched those trailers, I'm like, yeah, dude, he's just... It's kind of like Nathan Drake a little bit, you know? Where Nathan Drake, I mean, he's human, but man, he's sure doing things that doesn't seem like a normal human can do. Getting real lucky out there, I guess. Titus, no, I didn't hear about that, bro. I don't even know what that is. Well, again, I don't want to get too long-winded with the next-gen conversation, but I guess the last thing I'll say before we move on to the next set of topics is I think that Sony is maybe going to be put in a position where if they want to move over to the PlayStation 6 as like the PlayStation 6 is the future and the PlayStation 6 is what's going to facilitate a forward movement and a rise of, you know, of overall development and all this stuff, you know, the whole idea of next gen. If that's what the PlayStation 6 is going to be, Sony may have no choice but to settle on accepting that, well, it's going to be a long time. Like a long, long time before that happens. And what that could mean is a slow start to the PS6. The PS6 not really gaining any meaningful traction until much later in its life cycle. And the biggest reason for that will be because people collective it's all about the market, guys. Like if the market decides the PS5 is where they want to be, then Sony has no choice but to abide by that. You know, they can't force people, and I appreciate that, MRPD. I am feeling better. They can't force people. I mean, they could if they really wanted to, but it will probably work against them at this point, where the only way Sony could really force people to say, no, you are moving to PS6 because we said so, is they would have to come out and say every game we're doing is exclusive. So you are cut off. You are cut off. But the reason why that's not going to work for Sony is because it's like, well, Sony, yeah, sure, you'll win some people over by doing that, but what about every other game that's not yours that's being released for PS5? Every game's going to be cross-gen. So if anything, you know, Sony would be taking such a great risk where it's like, so wait, how many people are not going to move over if we make the next God of War exclusive? You'll get people to move over, but you're still going to have many more people that are like, I'm good. I'll wait. Garrett, you're saying you disagree. Not every game's going to be cross-gen. They'll bring back Jim just for a moment to say, we believe in generations. That's all he's got to say. Say the line, Jim. I don't know. I guess we are in disagreement here, Garrett. I do believe that every game will be cross-gen. I firmly believe that because we're talking x86 architecture. We're talking about the PS5 having, by that point in time, probably 100 million plus install base. And I'm telling you, man, I think what it really is going to come down to is it's going to be the optics of it all. I think if there's any whiff of the PS6 slowdown, you know, Sony's going to have to be really careful about that because that will... The optics of that will, I think, impact developers where it's like, okay, well, look, if the uptake, I should say, of the PS6 is not as high as it was for PS4 and PS5, that's gonna incentivize and encourage developers to continue doing cross-gen until they see a change, you know, until they see that greater uptake in the PlayStation 6. I think you have to look no further than what we've seen this generation with the PS4 and the PS5, where even now, dude, like we are 5 years into this console's life cycle, we're still seeing cross-gen games. But that's not really the important part. The important part is how many years were developers, it's like every single developer's doing cross-gen. I think there was a solid 2 to 3 years, you know? But it really comes down to Sony's overall philosophy approaching the PlayStation 6. And as of right now, I cannot get a read on it. If I go just based off of what Hideaki Nishino and Herman Hulst have said, if I go just based on that, not that they've really talked about next gen, but applying what they've said right now, assuming it doesn't change over the next 2 years, then yeah, I still lean more towards, I think they're just going to be more open and more chill with the idea of there's not a rush to upgrade. I think they're going to encourage you to upgrade, but I think you're going to see a slightly different approach from Sony where it's like, actually, we are happy if you keep playing on PS5. And we are happy if you buy a PS5 Pro still. Like, unless I'm completely misreading something, which I could be. Again, there's only so much I know. Behind the scenes, Sony may be preparing like a freaking onslaught of like, we're going to beat people over the head with reason after reason after reason as to why you need the PS6. Like, they might be ready to get extremely aggressive and go full charge, you know, and say like, we're going to do the that's what Jim Ryan did. But what's interesting is Jim Ryan, he's a marketing guy. He's a marketing shark. He everything that we saw with the rollout of the PS4 the PS5, it was so funny because his whole thing was like, we do believe in generations. It is about next gen. We're hyping you for the PS5. We're moving over, guys. We've done this so many times before. You know what to expect. And as the months went on, leading up to the PS5 releasing, and then especially after the PS5, and it just kind of became clear, like, oh yeah, these games are cross-gen. Not all of them, but like, oh yeah, Horizon is cross-gen. God of War cross-gen. GT cross-gen. Yeah. And we'll do like $10 upgrade paths, and you know. And it was just like, I don't think it really took much away from the PS5, because if you think about it, things like the 60 frames per second, the SSD, the DualSense, these were things that even when Jim turned to us and said, yeah, those things are cross-gen. We're doing this differently, guys. I know we made it seem like we're doing it the same, but we're actually doing it differently. The reason why everybody basically turned and looked at each other and said, I guess this is fine, is because we realized that, like, yeah, there were enough upgrades there that separated the PS4, where it's like, I can say with the utmost confidence that even if Demon's Souls wasn't a PS5 exclusive, and even if Ratchet and Clank wasn't a PS5 exclusive when it was coming out, I still would have upgraded to the PS5 and not regretted it, because when I got my hands on the PS5 and I experienced every game running at 60 FPS, every game instantaneous load times, the DualSense, you know, just the overall speed and fluidity of the console itself, the fact that it's a freaking quiet console and doesn't sound like a jet engine, you know, all these things, it's like, I'm not going back. Oh no, I'm not. I don't care if God of War is on PS4. I'm not going back. I'm fine right here. That's the problem, though, right? Everything I just listed is already here. And that's what makes me think, like, Sony, you're not going to be able to offer those things as a, you know, as like meaningful features, unless they have some kind of ace up their sleeve where it's like, wait till you see the DualSense 2, bro. But even then, I'm like, what could the DualSense 2 be to make me be like, I need to get that. I need to upgrade right now. I really don't know. I really don't know. I think Sony has their work cut out for them. And I do agree with that, pushing polygons. It can always get better. But I guess I'm just saying, it's like, this is where I think the rubber hits the road for Sony, where it's like, it's not going to be as, I could say this with confidence, it's not going to be as easy this time around for Sony to come out and be like, we got an even faster SSD now, guys. Like, it's going to have to be done with precision. And I don't doubt it. To be clear, like, Sony's very good at what they do. It's easy for me to say this now. Ask me again 2 years from now, and that'll tell you everything you need to know. If I'm still talking like this after we see the PS6 reveal, then you know everything I said is true, and Sony is relaxing on it. If by the time we get to the PS6 reveal and I'm like, yo, everything I said, throw it out the window, Sony just cooked, you know? Sony just went crazy. Sony just kicked the door down. If that's what we're looking at, which I hope that's what we get, that'd be amazing. Then yeah, that would be preferred. But I can't deny that I really like. There's a part of me, by this point in time, I have to admit, that really kind of likes the idea of Sony blending the PS6 generation with the PS5. I'm not going to lie. There's a part of me that really likes that at this point in time, because maybe it's just my level of satisfaction with the PS5 generation, but I'm like, dude, I know things can get better and I know they can improve. I'm literally watching it happen right now. I'm watching it happen right now where Sony's like, here's a PS5 Pro. It's going to get better next year. It's good now. It's going to get even better next year. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, I like that. I've never experienced that in the console space before. You know, every other generation, it's been, well, you're going to have to wait like probably 7 to 10 years. I was like, okay, I'll just settle in then. But this time it's a little bit different. Tarnished is shocked. What, MBG? Well, hear me out. I'm okay. I'm more okay than ever before with the idea of Sony coming out and being like, we're going to create an awesome next-gen console. But it is going to be a step change. But it's also okay if you're not ready to make that leap yet. You think it's a rare L? Yeah, I mean, I suppose I'm trying to think about how to properly explain this, because it's like I do want a next gen in that sense. Like I want Sony to treat the PlayStation 6 like a next gen. I want them, frankly, all I'm really saying is I want them to create excitement around it, because I love that. I love the hype. I love being the hype man. But I can only really be the hype man if there's actually a reason to be a hype man. And I would not be opposed to them saying, hey, we are going to do exclusives for the PS6 to sell you a PS6. I'm not opposed to that, because I'm like, okay, yeah, I've been doing that generation after generation. I'm totally used to that. But seeing how things have changed, and frankly, and this is the thing I have to say to Sony. And I don't know, you guys can give me your thoughts on this, but the thing I have to say to Sony is like, Sony, I'm good with what you've established here. Like, I've been telling, I know people think like for some reason I know you guys don't think this, but I've come across some people where they think I'm just lying to myself or lying to them for some reason when I say like, no, I really like the PS5 gen. Like, I really like what Sony has set up here. I like the Pro. I like the game. I like the simplicity of just the ease of use, the simplicity, the fact that everything they've done with the accessory lineup, and it all just blends so well together. And I'm like, this is done excellently, in my opinion. Like, this is so well done. It feels like a real, what's the word I'm looking for? Complete experience, I guess you could say. I think that the word I'm looking for is it feels like a complete experience where there isn't something missing. There isn't, like, this is like the first generation where I don't feel like things are missing. And in fact, the only thing that you maybe could say is missing is we still haven't fully moved on from the PS4. Like, we're still not truly in the next gen yet, because there's still games supporting PS4. There's still, you're still seeing people playing their live service games on the PS4, and Sony's like trying real hard to like get out of, like, come on guys, come to PS5, we're done with this. And people are still, they're sticking to the PS4, and Sony's still trying to pry them off of it. Knowing that that's where we are now, and I think they should upgrade to if they want to continue to play on console, they should move on from PS4, because I think that by this point in time, it's like, yeah, that's going to be a massive upgrade. You're saying I'm with you that the PS5 gen is great, but PS6 needs to be something new. I guess we'll see, Garrett. I mean, my question to you, Garrett, because it's interesting. I could tell, like, you, and you're not the only one. There are people, they really want Sony to, like, fresh start, clean slate with the PS6. My question to you is, if they don't do that, and it's much more like what I'm describing, does that change anything for you? Like, does that make you decide maybe I'm going to wait on the PS6, or I am going to stick with my PS5, or, Is it just going to be one of these things where you're going to still support it, but you're going to be a little bit let down or slightly disappointed by Sony's decision to be more relaxed on it? Because for me, it's exactly what I just said. I just told you guys how it's going to need to be. I said I wasn't going to make this a long-winded conversation, yet here it is. MBG, that's wild. This is the only gen where I feel like something's missing. I haven't turned on my PS5 since I Platinum Yote 6 days after release. I played like 3 games this whole year. Interesting, Ghetto God. Well, maybe that's because, and I'm only assuming this based off of what you're saying, Ghetto God. It sounds to me like the PlayStation platform is not your main place to play. Like, what I mean is, it sounds like you don't play third-party games on your PS5, and for you kind of view the PS5 as like, that's where you play your Sony games. Is that accurate? Because I do agree that if you're somebody who only engages with the PlayStation console or ecosystem for Sony's games, at least this year, like, their output is slowed down because they seemingly aren't really going for timed exclusivity much anymore. And they're just really focused on outputting a couple of first-party games a year, but, making them as high quality as they can. Because I understand. I think that's fair. Sony before, I feel like, they published way more games, smaller games, AA games, and all of them were exclusive, You're likely buying day one no matter what, but the slight chance I'll wait. There's a slight chance you'll wait if it comes out in 2027 with no exclusives. Oh, Ghetto God, that's interesting. I almost wonder if that's like not even like a Sony thing. I wonder if that's just an industry-wide thing. Because if you're saying the PS5 is like the only place you play, but you just haven't been that interested in anything. I've had that a couple times this generation, where like sometimes you just, I don't know, everything starts to kind of feel like maybe I just need to take a break, or I don't know. I've definitely come across there are people who feel as though the games industry has become just a homogenized, uninteresting blob of everything's just the same now and everything is lifeless. And I don't feel that way, but I can see certain things where I'm like, I can understand why some people would feel that way. There's a reason why PS5 doesn't feel like PS5. What's that reason, Tarnished? What do you think? Netflix is going to buy Sony next? Ghetto God got that depression thing where you can't feel joy. What is that called? Anhedonia? But I think that's what it's called. Being anhedonic sucks, dude. Yeah. Been there. It's awful. It's awful. Ghetto God says, I think I'm spoiled with PlayStation Studios' PS4 catalog, and this gen hasn't been anything close to that. It's probably also the fact, because that's true, I think it's also the fact that so many of the games you got were sequels, which, again, I think is great for me personally, and a lot of people enjoyed those sequels, but there is a kind of trade-off there where it's like, well, yeah, like, we did a bunch of new IP, AAA IP last gen, and it all did really well, so now we got to naturally make sequels to that AAA IP, and so it kind of creates a bit of a stagger for when you're going to get the next wave of new IP, but I don't know. It's really fascinating to me. The PS5 generation is fascinating to analyze, and seeing something like PSSR 2.0 being talked about just goes to show how different it is, where this is definitely not something we were talking about at the end of the PS4 life cycle, I'll tell you that. And I think because of that, the PS4 felt like, okay, we got everything out of this thing we possibly could. I don't think we're there yet with the PS5, and I think, again, the prospect of the Pro getting better literally tells you we didn't get everything out of this yet. That's what's different to me, and that's what I think is fascinating about thinking about the PlayStation 6 coming in 2027, where it's like, bro, that's a lot to contend with. You didn't have to worry about that with the PS4. The PS4 was like, bro, this console's like 7-8 years old. It sounds like a jet plane's taking off. You look at a game like The Last of Us Part 2 and you think, can it really get any better on this piece of hardware? The answer is absolutely not. Like, Naughty Dog has extracted every ounce of juice you can get out of this thing. So now is a good time to move on, And who knows, maybe Intergalactic will do that for the PS5. Will Intergalactic be the first game that makes my PS5 sound like it's going to take off? Anime for Entertainment, a member for 28 months. Thank you for being a longtime member, buddy. You're saying, what if Jeff Keighley teases another horror game from Kojima, not including OD? Maybe it's another version of PT. Anime for Entertainment, he's going there. He's like, you know what? What if it is Silent Hills? What if it actually is the Kojima Silent Hill game? Anime for Entertainment, he won't let it go. Well, listen, man, I don't know that I think that's what we're seeing, and I don't think that's the direction that Jeff's going in with what he's teasing. But I will say I think Kojima will be there. Whether he's there with OD or Fizzant or something else related to Death Stranding, I'm not sure. I think OD is probably the most likely thing. I think Fizzant's still really early in development, but I don't know. Could Kojima be making another horror game? I'm not sure. I mean, how much could he really take on, you know? I'm making a horror game next to my other horror game while I'm making that Fizzant game, while I'm making that Metal Gear game, you know? I guess we'll see. True, but The Last of Us 2 didn't come out until 4 months before the PS5, right at the end. And that's also true, Alvin. And it's weird because, like, I remember when that was happening, I was convinced there was going to be, like, a cross-gen thing. And that didn't happen. I think that they put out, like, a free update at some point, like a year or two later, where you can get 60 FPS on it. But then they did the proper remaster in 2024. And that's another question. Guys, that's another major thing with the PS6 generation is I don't know if Sony's going to be able to continue to do what they've been doing, where, like, one of the things that they've leveraged to differentiate and separate a generation in the case of the PS4 and the PS5 is, like, here's the remasters and the director's cuts. I don't know. Like this is where I'm not really sure what that's going to look like this time around. And again, that's for Sony to let me know. Sony may have a plan here. They're like, oh no, we have PS6 remasters ready to, like, that we're preparing. The question is, are they going to land? Like, when you look at something like Spider-Man 2018 released on the PS4, and then 2 years later, they're like, here's the remaster of it for PS5. I think some people forget that Spider-Man 2018 was remastered. There's two things about it. Number one, it's a pretty significant upgrade. We're like, okay, now we're seeing ray tracing. We're seeing just how high fidelity this game can really be, how smooth it can run at 60 or even 120 frames, right? God, man, I don't like... And looking at how good that is, it's like, all right, well, then I see Spider-Man 2 on the PS5. What could Spider-Man 2 achieve on the PS6? And I just have this overwhelming sense of diminishing returns, where it's not that you won't see something great. It's just, if you look at the problem that Sony had showing off the PS5 Pro, the problem they had showing off the PS5 Pro is people were like, I could see a slight improvement, but I'm not really they almost look the same to me. And I'm, like, really worried that Sony's going to show off a PS6 game and people are going to be like, it looks good, but it's coming to PS5, right? And that right there is, like, the answer from Sony's either going to be yes or no. And I think if the answer is yes this time around, I think you're going to have a lot of people. But last thing I'll say, and we'll move on. Don't forget, something that Sony let us know throughout this generation is, and we had these conversations early in the generation, we were talking about, like, Sony going cross-gen with games like Horizon and God of War is this going to incentivize people to just stay on PS4 and not upgrade? And Sony let us know a couple of years into the generation that most of the sales, the overwhelming bulk of these sales of God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, and Horizon were on PS5. So it's not that there wasn't anybody buying it on PS4, but the overwhelming majority of people, they were upgrading to play these games, even though they weren't exclusive. And that, to me, is probably some of the most interesting data we've received, where I think from Sony's perspective, that might be what convinces them to be like, it's totally okay to just go all cross-gen. Because, like, yeah, I think there might be a chance, at least based off of that data and consumer behavior, that it doesn't really matter to most people if it's cross-gen. What matters is they want the next big thing, which is the PS6, and they want to play these games on that PS6. So even though they were releasing on PS4, people still felt as though they were PS5 games. And if Sony can do that effectively again, then maybe everything will be just fine. But time will tell. I do just think that this whole PSSR huge upgrade, yeah, for somebody like me, man, I mean, I feel like, Sony, you're about to make my PS5 Pro a lot better, which I'm grateful for. That's awesome. But you're about to do it literally the year before you're trying to sell me a PS6. You know, it feels a little bit awkward here. I feel like Sony's putting me in an awkward position. But we'll see. I'm still excited. I'm still very excited to see what Sony's going to announce and what they're going to do for the PS6. And again, do not forget the wild card. The wild card, the PlayStation 6 handheld. That could be the big game changer, potentially, for PlayStation. We don't know yet. MBG, did you see the London Studios game was revived? I saw that. How's that going down, William? How's the response to that been? What's it called? Cast outs or something? Yeah, you know what? Did you guys see this? I feel bad because people are going to dump on it so bad. But, I mean, let me see if I can find the picture of it. Yeah, so London Studio, for those who don't know. Oh, is there a trailer out for it? Oh, okay, hold on. So they released a trailer. Let me see if I can... Maybe we could just check it out. So we'll check this out really quick. For those who don't know, or maybe have forgotten, London Studio, who's now shut down, they were working on a live service game, a live service multiplayer title for PS5. And the only thing we ever saw of it was some concept art. And we were not impressed with the concept art because it was like, oh, this looks very generic. Not sure how we're feeling about this. What's interesting is the team that was making that decided to form their own studio independently, and they still wanted to make the game. And now we're seeing the first trailer. Sorry, I got to figure out an easier way to just set this stuff up so I'm not wasting so much time constantly trying to get it all set up. It's because my sources are so unorganized. But let me I actually haven't seen this trailer myself yet, so I have no idea what we're walking into, and I am curious. Again, this was supposed to be a PS5 live service game from London Studio, and yeah, let's check it out. I know I'm muted, William. I know. So there's no release date for it. I don't know, man. Like, I feel kind of bad. Like, I don't want to like dump on it immediately because I feel bad in a sense that like I know devs, they're trying, man. They're trying. But it looks like there's actually I can't tell if these are these bot comments or like people are saying they're excited. Looks really cool. I love the art style and destruction. Recently I've been more excited about these kind of games instead of AAA games with realistic visuals. This trailer is really not done well, and yet this game looks really cool and fun. Loving the look of this. Okay, this is shocking. There's like a lot of positivity in the IGN comment section of all places. Not bad. I might play my PS5 now. No wonder PlayStation closed London studio and fired Jim Ryan. Ooh. Did they? Okay, so here's some of the negatives. Did they reskin Suicide Squad? It's like Cameo and Fortnite had a baby. So, all right, it's really weird looking at this because, I don't know if it's sarcasm or not. I mean, I can't read sarcasm unless they, make it clear it is. But my read on this, like my initial thoughts, first off, is that it's super interesting to think that this could have been a PlayStation 5, like, first party game. That's what this was supposed to be, but it was canceled. And the studio, unfortunately, London studio shut down, which is very sad. Because, it's crazy to think, like, that was the same studio that made, like, The Getaway, which is crazy. My problem with this game and that trailer, just again, my initial gut reaction is this looks too similar to too many other games. And as I'm observing the trailer and I'm looking more closely, it's like, okay, it seems like they're trying to do something different with the co-op and the magic and the spells. I'm like, that's kind of cool. I have to admit, the boss battles look like they could be kind of cool. They showed that big dragon. They showed that spider. I'm like, that looks like it has potential. But it's just the overall aesthetic and vibe of the game. It feels like it's trying so hard to replicate other live service games that have came before it that I'm just like, I don't know, man. If this was like a first party PlayStation game right now, I would probably be tearing into it a little bit or a lot. I'm not going to lie. I would be looking at this being like, there ain't no way you guys thought this was what was going to do it. And a part of me does feel a little bit bad because, again, I know these devs, they're not trying to make a bad game. They're not trying to make something that is going to, be the next Concord. I understand that, but I just can't deny that when I first, when first impressions are important, right? And when I see just even the look of the game, I'm like, I feel like I already know the exact vibe of this game, even just by looking at it, right? I think I'm going to be good on it. I think I'm going to be passing, but maybe the gameplay's fun. I'm trying to be lenient here, where this is a team that was laid off and their studio was shut down and they're still trying to make it happen. So, I wish them the best and I hope that they can find some kind of audience here, but I don't know. It feels like these days, if you choose to make a game with an art style that looks like that and an overall visual aesthetic that looks like that, I think you're just running a great risk because it's like, well, I don't know. Like a lot of people are going to look at it and be like, that looks like I've seen that game like 100 times already, I guess you could probably say the same thing in the AAA space though, too, to be fair. The game looks kind of fun. One thing that was interesting to me was the destructible environments. I noticed that too. Yeah, the thing that really stood out to me from that trailer on a positive note was the dragon. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. Like you got this massive dragon flying in, lands on top of the building, half the building gets destroyed or something or starts crumbling. I'm like, that's kind of sick. So like from that perspective, I'm like, okay, that looks kind of different and potentially fun. But I don't know. For me personally, I'm very finicky when it comes to visuals of a game. There are certain cartoony type aesthetics that appeal to me more than others, and I don't know why. Like, there are just some games that I can see that I don't know how to describe it. Like I think of, like, do you guys remember the Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare games? Like, that's definitely a cartoony art style, but for some reason, I love the look of it. I'm like, I just like the way this looks, and I don't know if there's a name for it. MBG, can I say it looks good? Absolutely, Tarnished, yeah. I'm not telling you gotta hate this game. If anything, you should give them a chance. These are former London studio devs. If anything, give them a chance. I'm just saying, for me personally, I don't think it's something I'm going to play. But I can't deny that if I was watching like a PlayStation showcase and Sony was like, "Here you go," I would be like, I would be a little like, "Oh man, Sony, why?" I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe I would have tried it. I mean, I saw that Ratchet and Clank mobile shooter, and I'm like, I'd play that. I'd at least try it. Maybe it would be awful, but I'll test it out. I try to at least be fair. At least when it comes to Sony, like the live service games that Sony's making, I try to be at least fair enough where, like, I will at least try it once. I do like Plants vs. Zombies, yeah, I can't deny. I just got a notification, Avenged Sevenfold song. Avenged Sevenfold releases a new song called Magic through Call of Duty. Yeah, they've always done collabs with Call of Duty. I like Avenged Sevenfold. I'll have to check that out. I'm surprised they're still doing collabs with Call of Duty. You think that it's just really nice that they actually got to finish the game instead of being gone forever? That's true, yeah. And I was surprised when I saw this. I'm like, I thought it was over. Like, I didn't think that game would ever see the light of day. Now here, like, can we get this, but for The Last of Us multiplayer? Right? The team that sorry, I'm stuttering a little bit. The team that made The Last of Us Online, they formed their own independent studio now, and they said they're trying to make a game that's very similar to it. And I'm like, can we get that? If we can get it for this game from London Studio, can we get it for what was supposed to be The Last of Us multiplayer? Anyway, guys, we're going to move on to the second topic here, which we're going to talk about Netflix acquiring WB. Guys, do me a favor. If you're enjoying the stream, take a moment, hit that like button. We're sitting at 89 likes. Let's see if we can bump that up to 100. And again, if you want to show any support, I am completely fan-funded, guys. I can only run this channel and do what I do here because you guys support it. So the viewership helps, obviously, but if you want to go the extra mile, become a channel member, gift memberships, see if we can increase this goal or get closer to the second goal. Super chats, direct donations, they all help. I appreciate it, guys. We're going to talk about this acquisition. If I head over to Twitter, sorry if my screen gets real bright. Let me see if I can. Hold on. I'm just going to see if I can enable dark mode because it's really annoying. I always forget where to find it in the settings on Twitter. Like, I literally don't. Oh, here it is. Display. Okay. There we go. All right. Oh god, it looks so different. Okay, so yeah, WB was officially acquired, guys. And this is not necessarily surprising because WB themselves straight up said, we're looking to be purchased. What if they call it the first of them? That would be amazing. That would be amazing, dude. We live in a world where Netflix owns WB. What the hell? Yeah, I know. It's crazy. So I learned about this. The official Netflix account posted it. They said, today Netflix announced our acquisition of Warner Bros. Together we'll define the next century of storytelling, creating an extraordinary entertainment offering for audiences everywhere. And they have a press release. It says, today Netflix and Warner Bros. Discovery Inc. announced they have entered into a definitive agreement under which Netflix will acquire Warner Bros., including its film and television studios, HBO Max and HBO. The cash and stock transaction is valued at $27.75 per WBD share, subject to a collar as detailed below, with total enterprise value of approximately $82.7 billion. The transaction is expected to close after the previously announced separation of WBD's Global Networks division, Discovery Global, into a publicly traded company, which is now expected to be completed in Q3 of 2026. This acquisition brings together two pioneering entertainment businesses, combining Netflix's innovation, global reach, and best-in-class streaming service with Warner Bros.' century-long legacy of world-class storytelling. Beloved franchises, shows, and movies such as The Big Bang Theory. Oh, they start with The Big Bang Theory, bro. The Sopranos, Game of Thrones, The Wizard of Oz, and the DC Universe will join Netflix's extensive portfolio, including Wednesday, Money Heist, Bridgerton, Adolescence, and Extraction, creating an extraordinary entertainment offering for audiences worldwide. And so you have a couple of quotes here from the different CEOs and whatnot. Trying to see if there's anything else here that would be relevant to us. No. So, yeah, this is happening. How are we feeling, guys? Are we feeling good about this? I don't know. So here's my feelings on this. I don't know that they extend very far. My feelings are. Wait, hold on. You guys are saying this is very, very bad news. Well, you know what? Actually, maybe I should refer to the chat then. For those who think this is bad, why? I'm not saying I think it's good. I just don't know. I don't know that much about Netflix. I don't really pay much attention to Netflix. Sometimes I watch some stuff from them, but as a company and like what they're doing, I don't really pay much attention. Mergers like this are always terrible. Well, yeah, I'm at a point where I'm just indifferent to it. Like, it's clear that consolidation is just going to continue. So there's probably going to be, like, unfortunately, mass layoffs and a lot of bad stuff that goes down. So from that perspective, yeah, I fully expect that. And I don't mean to be so cold about it. It's just, it is what it is, man. Like, there's nothing I can do. It's just the direction that everything seems to be going in. At least, not even just in gaming, but just generally speaking. The IP will be left for dead. The only silver lining is that Paramount couldn't get them. Yeah, Paramount was trying, and Saudi Arabia, they were trying to get them too. This will justify their nearly annual price increases. Yeah, that's the thing, man. I see that, like, Stranger Things Season 5 is out now, and I want to watch it, but I look at the pricing of Netflix. I'm like, what happened, dude? What happened? Like, I don't know if I want to watch it that bad. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if I want to watch it that bad. I'm still considering it, but it is crazy to me to see how much their prices increased, where it's like, this is absurd. And I knew that this was always going to happen because of convenience. It's the convenience factor. They get you in the door. We've talked about subscriptions so much, where it's like they get you in the door with a cheap price point. They give you a couple, some good shows to watch. They give you some decent to good content. And then once you get comfortable with it, then they start kind of price gouging you. If not gouging you, but like just constant increase in prices. Because it's like, well, you've gotten used to having Netflix, and you've gotten used to always having a place to go and peruse and browse what you want to watch when you're bored and at night. And, it's ultimately just easier for people, rather than going out of their way to cancel it, to just be like, whatever, I guess it's just going to be like $3 more a month. And then, that happens 3 times over the course of 4 years. And then before you know it, it's almost $10 more a month. And again, it's a slow burn of it. But I do wonder, with an acquisition like this, it's not going to be slow. I think it might be pretty, like, upfront, like, we are increasing the price, guys. What I hate is when it comes to Netflix originals or exclusives, you cannot get a physical copy or a digital copy of it. F-subscription sometimes. Yeah, that's something I never really thought about, and that does suck, dude. Yeah, I mean, that's why, like, it's the negative of the digital-only future, where we have literally seen, I think in recent years, some shows just be actually erased. Like, things have just been deleted, where it's like now it's it's truly lost media where it's permanently deleted. And I don't know, I just feel like I don't want to make a big deal about it, but it's like it's objectively better if you have the option where it's like, well, you can still watch this physical copy and or buy it, and it's there. Like it still exists, Just pirate shows and movies. Netflix has never been a physical media company. It'll be interesting to see if they stay that way with WB. I didn't even think about that. I mean, from the gaming perspective, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think about that. Are they going to cancel like any physical releases of games now? That would suck. Hopefully not. They would also own the entire comic book company too. Well, when I think about this acquisition, I think very much about their studios, their gaming studios. And I know that for most people, and even in the press release, they're focused more on unless there's something I'm missing, guys, which I don't think there is. I think they're acquiring the entirety of WB. And that does include their gaming sector. Netflix could sell that off, I think, if they wanted. If they were like, actually, this is just too much overhead. We don't want this. Or they could shut it all down. I don't think they would do that. The thing about it is WB has some talented studios still. They own NetherRealm, who does Mortal Kombat and Injustice. They own Rocksteady, which I think Rocksteady is kind of, they're not necessarily the same, but they're still a studio that people, I think, still, they have some level of faith in. They want to see them return to greatness. Yeah, that's really interesting. The Snyderverse fans are getting their hopes up. That'll be really interesting to see if they do anything there. You also have studios like, hold on, let me get just a rundown list. So every Warner Bros. Game studio, we're looking at NetherRealm Studios, Rocksteady, Avalanche Software, TT Games, and WB Games Montreal. And you have other smaller development teams like WB Games Boston, New York, and San Francisco. And when I look at these teams, so like one of the biggest games that's in development right now is a Hogwarts Legacy sequel at Avalanche. Obviously, Netflix is not going to cancel that, but I'm more thinking about like if Netflix is going to try to leverage some of these game studios to make games based on Netflix-owned properties now. You think of something like Stranger Things. We know that Netflix has tried to make Stranger Things work in gaming a couple of times, and I don't think it's worked out too well for them. Are they going to say, hey, Avalanche, next, when you're done with the Hogwarts Legacy sequel, we want you to work on a Stranger Things game, an open world AAA Stranger Things game? Would they do something like that? Would people want that? I don't know. There's also the chance that they might not interfere much at all. The thing that just interests me about this is that Netflix has always had an interest in gaming. They've always tried to penetrate the gaming market, and I don't think they've ever done so successfully. Yeah, I don't think they have any good games. There's nothing I can really think of. So I do wonder if this is them kind of looking at it as, okay, this is our first like real foot in the door moment. Because, I mean, let's face it, like WB, even though WB as a company is not run well and they're in a lot of debt, they have some really valuable stuff. Like people want to see what the next, knowing that there's a Batman game in development at Rocksteady, people want to know what that's going to be like. Is that going to be a return to greatness? People want to obviously get their hands on Hogwarts Legacy 2. That's going to be massive. Remember, Hogwarts Legacy outsold Call of Duty the year it came out. So it's absolutely colossal. You also think about the upcoming Lego Batman game. People are hyped for that, dude. It looks amazing. It looks amazing. And that's going to be, a thing that I'm assuming, I don't know when exactly the transaction is going to go through, but, that'll be Netflix now. You also have things like The Lord of the Rings. There was a report from, I think, Tom Henderson. I believe it was Tom Henderson. He said a couple of months ago that there is a Lord of the Rings AAA game that's in development at WB Game Studios that's similar to like Hogwarts Legacy. So that's happening. No, Tarnished, don't leave. I'm just kidding. That's totally fine, Tarnished. I appreciate you hanging out. If we get any more gifted memberships before the end of the stream, though, come back and let me know if you get one. Because I know you've been waiting. There's a couple people who've been waiting to get some memberships. The only good stuff Netflix has is Mike Flanagan shows and movies. I really like those. Yeah, I agree with that. Mortal Kombat, I mean, that's big. We know that James Gunn is now getting directly involved with the gaming side of things of the DC Extended Universe. So I don't know if that's going to change. Like, I don't know how much is going to change here, but it's definitely interesting that WB Games exists. They have a lot going on, and now Netflix is the owner of that. Netflix now has an established footing, I guess you could say, in the gaming sector, and I do wonder just how far this is going to go. Where are they going to try to make a AAA Big Bang Theory game? You know, I'm just kidding. I hope I'm kidding. I don't know what their plans are. But there's no denying that this is massive. This is a massive acquisition. This is going to have major implications across all media. And I want to be positive about it. I want to have some kind of hope that this will lead to good things. But we've seen how these massive acquisitions go, and that's probably not going to happen, unfortunately. And not trying to be too negative or too doomer here, but it seems like, it's not going to go great. $82.7 billion. It's now the largest video game acquisition by transaction value in history, costing $7.3 billion more than the Activision Blizzard acquisition. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I hope we get some insight from Netflix in the not too distant future about what this means for their gaming side of things, because I understand that that's like not the meat and potatoes. That's like small fry stuff, I think, compared to everything else. But still, to me, it's important. I think to a lot of us here, it's important. So I would like to get a little bit of insight. We're going to get a Netflix handheld. Extraction could make for a cool game. I never did see that. I heard it's pretty good. That's the one with Chris Hemsworth, right? I think that's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, I wonder if they're going to try to do stuff like that. I wonder if maybe this will embolden Netflix in gaming now. If now they'll feel more confident. And maybe with that added confidence, they're like, maybe we will make more acquisitions. We will try to grow the gaming sector and use that. I mean, I think that they would have to. Because if you have all these studios, assuming that they like the gaming side of WB and they're happy with it, they might not be. I mean, they might be getting ready to shut down studios for all I know. I'm just trying to take a glass half full approach here. But I'm just trying to base it on knowing Netflix has always tried to get into the gaming space in a significant way. If they know that all these studios are already kind of doing things and they're going pretty well so far, I would say decently well. I do wonder if they're going to be like, let's start building more game studios or acquiring more game studios, and now let's try to have an infusion of, we have like WB properties being worked on in a AAA space, but now we have new studios and we're going to have Netflix-owned properties being worked on in the AAA space. I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but I'm just trying to, again, imagine the different possibilities with a massive acquisition like this. There's so much IP and so much, there's so many people being moved over now. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't think that they would. I mean, dude, could you imagine if they shut down NetherRealm? Oh, man. Oh, dude, that would be awful. I mean, don't get me wrong. It would be awful if they shut down any of these studios, but it's the Mortal Kombat studio, bro. You can't shut them down. It'll be interesting, certainly. Netflix have The Matrix now. I wonder what they'll do with that franchise. Reboot it to a TV show. Oh, yeah. That's true. WB does own The Matrix. It's a shame. It's a shame what happened with the last Matrix movie. Like, they were trying to make a comeback with it. They got Keanu Reeves back, but it was not good. It was awful, which is so sad because I love the Matrix. But I mean, the Matrix universe is still very, I think there's a lot more that could be explored there. Maybe they could do something cool with it. But yeah, not sure how much else I could really say about this acquisition. It is, it's a big one. And like I said, I think we're definitely going to feel the effects of it in terms of just how big Netflix is and how big WB is and how much IP WB owns. It's something that, we're definitely going to feel the effects of in the coming years. And like I said, just to repeat it one more time, I would like to hear from Netflix themselves what this means for them in terms of gaming, Is it something that they're even paying attention to? All right, let me... Okay, let me... So we have a couple more topics we're going to be discussing before we wrap today's stream up. We still have to talk about Resident Evil. We're also going to be talking a little bit about the PlayStation partnership that was announced yesterday. The stream that I originally had up talking about this is no longer up because it was just not a good stream. But I'm going to make sure to cover that as well. And I think that's where we'll start. So for those who may have missed it, I think most of you didn't, but just in case, there was a announcement made yesterday by Sony. And it was similar to previous announcements we've received in the past. Announcements like, we are partnering with Haven Studios to work on a new IP. We're partnering with Firewalk Studios to work on a new IP. We're partnering with Deviation Games to work on a new IP. This is a very similar announcement, and the timing of it is very fascinating to me because, well, frankly, we haven't seen Sony make announcements like this in quite some time. And I think most of us believed that Sony was done making these types of announcements because the announcements that they made previously with Deviation and Firewalk and Haven, none of them worked out well. In fact, one of them, as we saw with Concord, worked out very, very poorly. So there was kind of this, I think, expectation that Sony was done doing things like this and partnering with studios like this. Apparently, that's not the case. Sony is still on the lookout. And this one, I have to admit, is particularly interesting. I was being, I think, overly negative yesterday when I talked about it because I was just, I was getting a migraine. But the studio is called Bad Robot Games. It says Sony Interactive Entertainment today announced a partnership with video game studio Bad Robot Games, a division of Bad Robot, the film, television, and theater production company founded by J.J. Abrams, for Sony Interactive Entertainment to produce and publish the studio's upcoming project, an unannounced 4-player cooperative shooter directed by Mike Booth, who originally worked on Left 4 Dead. The game is currently in development for PlayStation 5 and PC. More details on the game will be shared at a later date. Partnering with Sony Interactive Entertainment allows us to bring our new IP to life with an expansive vision for this new universe. This is what Anna Sweet said, the CEO of Bad Robot Games. With the support of PlayStation, we hope to deliver a bold, innovative experience that is truly special for players. I could not be more excited that Mike Booth is at the creative helm, crafting a cooperative adventure that will lead to unforgettable moments with friends. We are greatly impressed with the talent Bad Robot Games has assembled at their studio and are thrilled to partner with them to help produce and publish their upcoming game. This is what Christian Svensson, the VP and head of second-party and third-party content ventures and strategic initiatives at Sony Interactive Entertainment said. Their unique creative voice and passion for innovating across all forms of interactive entertainment perfectly aligns with SIE's mission to craft experiences that resonate deeply with players. We can't wait for gamers to step into the world that they've been building. So, it says about Bad Robot Games. Bad Robot Games is a division of Bad Robot formed with a singular mission to continually reinvent how stories are played. Formed by J.J. Abrams and a team passionate about innovating in gaming, Bad Robot Games is a dedicated game studio working on new and existing transmedia franchises. The company is fully remote and made up of a diverse community of creatives focused on creating worlds you can experience across all screens. So, yeah, there's not like too much we can extract from this. Again, I know that if you watched my video yesterday or if you did tune into yesterday's stream, you already know about this, but I just wanted to, make sure there's a proper, long form opinion or, long form thoughts of mine that are out here. So on one hand, this is exciting to me because I'm a huge Left 4 Dead fan. I want to emphasize that Mike Booth, they're emphasizing him specifically because he wasn't just a random developer that worked on Left 4 Dead. He was actually the founder of Turtle Rock Studios. Turtle Rock was the development team that made Left 4 Dead in conjunction with Valve. And again, he founded it and was the CEO of it. He was the game designer for Left 4 Dead, and he also was responsible for creating the AI director that was present in Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. And when people talk about what one of the aspects that made Left 4 Dead so great and such a fantastic game that really felt ahead of its time and still holds up today, it's that AI director. That AI director truly was an integral part of what made the Left 4 Dead experience unique and memorable. And so when I hear that this is the person in charge of this new IP and has this new team, and Sony is now backing them up and partnering with them, and they're working on a 4-player co-op game, sparks start to fly in my head a little bit where I'm like, could it be? Are we looking at the actual true next generation Left 4 Dead experience where it might not be infected zombies or post-apocalyptic, but it will be a 4-player co-op game, and it will share that type of DNA. There's promise there. I really believe that. And I'm not just saying that to overhype it. I'm not just saying that to, do what I did with Concord and with Haven and with Deviation, where it's like, this is going to be great, guys. Like, no, I don't know if this will be great. I don't know if this will turn out to be a whole lot of nothing, a whole lot of disappointment. But what I do know is that Mike Booth is somebody that I would have some level of faith in just based off of his history with Left 4 Dead and how much I love the Left 4 Dead games. So this speaks to me directly. But on the other hand, on a more negative note, it's very difficult to get too excited here and to not also take this with a big grain of salt and view it as like, this sounds good on paper, but I'm not going to allow myself to get excited or hyped until you show me the game. No hype, no, if there's no gameplay, if there's no look at this game, then there can't be any hype. I have to be fair to myself there because I've been down this road. I think we've all been down this road, again, with something like Concord and even Haven Studios. And I also want to add to this that even though there's a risk here from Sony's perspective, there is a risk in Sony deciding we are going to continue to look for these different independent studios and veteran talent and partner with them and fund their new IP and help bring it to life. There's obviously massive risk here. And Sony has hit the wall pretty hard with something like Concord and Haven Studios and Deviation Games, their game just straight up getting canceled. They hit the wall pretty hard. The fact that they're still willing to take these risks, I got to commend Sony on that. Like, it kind of takes guts in a way where it's like, wow, okay, you guys really, you've gotten very unlucky so far, but you're not letting it deter you from, if you see a game that you think looks good and you believe in and has a chance, you're still going to take that chance. I appreciate that, and I'm glad to see that Sony is not like cowering in fear where they're like, we're not even going to try anything anymore. We're not taking that chance ever again. I am happy to see that because I do think that it would be worse if Sony was like, we're not even going to bother. But that doesn't mean it won't go badly, right? It doesn't guarantee anything. I just have to hope that Sony learned something from their previous experience of bringing on Haven, knowing that Jade Raymond is gone. This game may or may not end up getting canceled. Deviation got canceled, or their game got canceled, but then they got Jason Blundell, gave him his own studio and said, okay, maybe we'll keep you and your team because you guys are good and know what you're doing. Who knows what they're making. Firewalk was a studio that they partnered with. They were so confident in Firewalk that they acquired them. The rest is history. We already know what happened. The studio no longer exists. The game is as if it never even happened. I hope that Sony is looking, and I'm sure they are, they're looking very closely at all of that. And they're realizing that, okay, if we're going to continue to make partnership deals, we have to, like, now we have a better idea of what not to look for, or like if we see it, it's a red flag, we'll pass. I'm sure that they've talked to many different developers and they've seen many different games, and there are many that they passed on. My hope is that Helldivers 2 provides some level of confidence and inspiration for Sony, where knowing that that is their most successful live service game, that is the game that got them to a new level of live service success. My hope is that they look at that, and when they see whatever this co-op game is that is being made by Bad Robot, they're like, you know what? This could be another co-op multiplayer game that really catches fire, that people really gravitate towards. Maybe it shares some similarities with Helldivers. And yeah, I would say if that's true, then Sony is making a good bet. I think they are making the right choice. If it shares similarities with Left 4 Dead, Sony's making a good choice, in my opinion. If this game has any resemblance of Left 4 Dead, even if it's just at the core structure of the 4-player co-op and how it's structured and how it's designed, and it feels reminiscent of Left 4 Dead, I think Sony is making a very wise decision here. But again, this could very much be an out-of-touch executive at PlayStation that sees a game that they see money symbols and they think it's going to be the next big thing, but it's actually not, and anybody could tell them that, and they're just wasting their time and effort. I know that's very pessimistic, but it is very much a coin flip. And the last thing I'll say before we move on to talking about Resident Evil is that I understand that people hear multiplayer co-op and it's clearly going to be a live service game, and they immediately shut down. They immediately say, you know what? I don't care. I'm actually upset. And people are looking at this as like Sony doesn't learn their lesson, or they didn't learn their lesson. Sony's making another mistake. They're going to step on another landmine, one that's not even hidden and is very obvious in plain sight. I understand that. I think that's warranted. I do. I think we've seen Sony make some mistakes here. I think we've seen how negatively the live service, 12 live service game endeavor worked out for them. But I still believe that Sony needs... I'm going to look at it less from the business perspective, because obviously Sony needs more live service games from a business perspective. They need more than just Helldivers 2 to succeed. That's just a given. But from my perspective as a PlayStation player, I want more multiplayer games from Sony. I love the single-player bangers, right? Like, Sony needs to continue with the single-player games, but I know they will. I'm not worried about that. Sony has a family of studios that want to keep making single-player games, high-quality single-player games, and they're not going to stop. So I'm not really worried about that as much. And I know that there's plenty of other third-party developers that Sony may or may not partner with on single-player games as well. So I'm not worried about the single-player side of things. I am actually worried about the multiplayer front, where it's like, I don't want my only options to constantly be options outside of Sony. Like, I want more stuff like Helldivers from Sony, where it's like, yes, Helldivers was awesome and a highlight of 2024 for me. It was amazing to finally be able to boot up a multiplayer PlayStation game after God knows how many years. That's not Destruction All-Stars, right? And feel like, wow, like this is really good. And put over 110 hours, 115 hours into it, platinum it, and I'm like, this was a great experience with me and my friends. I played with some of the community. It was awesome, and I want more of that from PlayStation. And I don't care if it comes directly from their own internal studios or studios that they partner with. And I'm not rooting for any of these games to be bad or to fail, because that would be antithetical to what I actually want. So, yes, inherently inside, right, on the inside, I want this game to be good. I want this to be the next multiplayer banger that I'm having a phenomenal time with, or when they show it, it's like, this looks amazing. I can't wait. That's what I want. Is that what I'm going to get? I don't know. But I do have to be a little bit careful, though. I do, because I wanted that from Firewalk. I wanted that from Haven, and I didn't get it. And I wanted that from Deviation, and I didn't get it. So here's hoping that this one is a W, and Sony is making a really awesome strategic partnership here, and we get a great game. I'm not going to hope for anything less, but I will be prepared if it is less than that. Sony Interactive will never stop with partnerships because that's how you gain a lot of IPs or establish good relationships when it works. Exactly. Yeah, and I think people are just a little put off because they're like, why aren't you establishing these relationships and partnerships with single-player games? Well, I mean, there simply might not be as many single-player games in development on the independent side. I think, Sony's doing a great job there in other regions. The China Hero Project, the India Hero Project, like, you're still doing that. But in terms of, like, bigger independent developers that are maybe Western-based or even Eastern, but I look at something like Bad Robot and I'm like, well, they were already clearly making this. Oh, and by the way, something I do want to mention, because people are wondering, like, how long has this game been in development, this new IP? Apparently, it's been in development for about 3 years. Somebody discovered a job listing for the writer, whoever's writing the story of this game. They were originally working at Firewalk, which is a PlayStation-owned studio, and they left Firewalk and got hired by Bad Robot Games in 2023. So this game has been in development seemingly since sometime in 2023. Maybe it's been in development before that. That's just based off of one person's job listing. It could have been in development for 4 years for all we know. It's hard to determine. I would like to get some insight into that. Is this game 2 years in development? Is this game 4 years in development? I would say, maybe I'm wrong here, but I think this game might be further along in development, only because at this point, I think Sony would only feel confident to partner with another multiplayer studio if they saw, like, a close to final version of the game. Like, they have a really good idea of what this game is. The whole thing about Concord, and I'm not making excuses, but it's just, we mentioned it yesterday. Shuhei Yoshida was the one who signed Concord, and he signed that back in, like, 2017, 2018. I just spit all over my monitor and my mic. And at that time, you're talking about prototypes. You're talking about big promises based on prototypes. And I guess Shu liked what he saw, or he liked the idea of what he saw. And then Herman clearly really liked it for some reason. But I guess I'm just saying at this point, I don't know that Sony would. I think Sony's more likely to try to get a better understanding of, like, we need to really know what this game's going to be before we could determine whether or not we want to strike a partnership here and fund it and put our name on it and everything and back it up. That's just my guess. I could be totally wrong. But yeah, I had to make sure to cover this today because, like I said, this was announced yesterday, and I'm not seeing a whole lot of hype for it, and I think that's good. There shouldn't be a whole lot of hype for it. There should just be an observation of, oh, okay, noted. Sony's partnering with another studio. They're saying they're going to share more at a later date. Let's just take a look at what this studio could be working on and who's part of it, and then we'll just wait patiently and hope that they deliver the goods. And that's what we will do now. I will add one last thing, though, and that is the timing of this. I do wonder if this game is going to be revealed at the Game Awards. I do wonder, because the timing of this is very peculiar in that this is a really strange time for Sony to be announcing another partnership with a studio that we've never really heard of before or paid attention to. And this is a new IP, and they make it seem like they're going to be revealing it soon. So I'm not saying expect it at the Game Awards. I am just saying there is a chance and a decent chance and a possibility that it could be revealed at the Game Awards. Yeah, it's definitely going to be live service for sure. There's no doubt about that. So it's going to be a co-op game, but it's going to be live service. They might have story. I mean, they have writers. I'm thinking there might. Well, you know what? Actually, hold on. Let me back up. Scratch what I said. I'm saying it's definitely going to be live service. It might not be.
When it comes to Netflix, They said they're keeping the CEO and this could be a better understanding of putting theatrical movies cause K-pop.
Oh, yeah, going back to that perfect image. I didn't know that. I didn't know that you're saying that they confirmed they're keeping the CEO. Yeah, K-pop, I mean, that's like the next, I mean, that's a big thing. That's like the biggest thing right now. And Sony's involved with that as well. Sony Pictures Entertainment, or Sony Entertainment Pictures, whatever. Sony Pictures, they're involved with it. So, perfect image, you might be right there. This could be good for Netflix, man, in terms of like maybe they'll be more open to, trying to get a better well-rounded understanding and embrace of the theatrical stuff. And, I know like they're trying to put movies in theaters. Who knows? Maybe they'll be reversed. Maybe they'll start supporting physical media. Guess we'll find out. But thank you for letting me know that perfect image. I didn't realize they said the CEO will remain. And we have, just want to read what Jack said here. He said, Sony's been partnering with other studios, not just Deviation Studios. Last year, they partnered with Kojima for Fizzant, and this year they partnered with Arc System for Tokon. That's very true. And that's why I wanted to read that, Jack, because I guess this particular announcement, it's reminding me very much of, because it's like it's almost the same way. It's reminding me very much of the Haven Firewalk Deviation thing. But you're absolutely correct. They partnered with Arc System Works in a major way with Marvel Tokon, and that's going to be one of Sony's biggest games that they drop next year, dude. And Fizzant, I mean, come on. I don't know, I'm spitting so much. Fizzant is going to be colossal on the PlayStation 6. So you're right. They've still been making some moves, man. And to be honest, they seemingly have not slowed down one bit when it comes to making partnership deals. I think maybe it was just accelerated more so, or it seemed like it was more accelerated during like 2020 and 2021, because at that time, I mean, the money was flowing and everybody was buying everything. Everybody was, investing in everything. So I think naturally people are like, oh, I guess you're done now. Like, no, we're just going at a more even cadence. But yeah, I just want to say, it might not be live service, man. They didn't say it's live service. They said multiplayer co-op. They're talking about a story. We know that there's a writer on the game or multiple writers. So this might not be a live service game. Like, when we look at Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2, do we look at them as live service games? They've basically been supported by the community with mods as live service. But if it's going to be similar to something like Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2, then it might not be the traditional live service that we're thinking of. What does this mean for the Horizon MMO from Guerrilla? I don't think it means much right now. I think it just means that they still have that multiplayer game that they're going to be revealing, and we will have to see how that goes. I think Sony's just increasing their chances of having successful multiplayer games. I mean, of course, they're increasing their chances of having another failure, but, you got to take the risks. You got to take the risks. And I want it to be good, man. Like I said, I know it sounds crazy that I have to repeat this, but there's just so much negativity these days. I just want good games. Sony delivers a lot of good games. I just want more good multiplayer games now. And I don't think I'm the only one. I think we need to acknowledge that the majority of people on PlayStation 5 play multiplayer. In fact, most people on PlayStation 5 spend the overwhelming majority of their time on multiplayer games. That is a reality. I'm not saying the most hardcore PlayStation fan does. Most hardcore PlayStation fans play everything, but also really have a strong passion for single-player games. But again, that's not going anywhere. That's not going anywhere. And I think we all know that by now. Risks can reap the rewards. That's absolutely true. So, guys, we're going to move on to the final topic of today's show. Although I don't know that it will wrap up the show. We might still just hang out for a little bit. I think I'll try to, maybe... I don't want to, artificially go for a specific time, but we're 2 hours and 15 minutes in. maybe we'll go for 2 hours and 45 minutes, maybe the 3 hour mark. I'm going to start engaging a little bit more with the chat. But I do want to talk a little bit about Resident Evil 9 because we have the official confirmation. We don't have to speculate anymore. We don't have to ask questions. Jeff Keighley has confirmed on the official Game Awards account and on his own account that yes, Resident Evil Requiem, which I don't think it surprises anybody, but it's interesting that they're letting us know ahead of time. It's going to be at the Game Awards, and we're going to get a new look at it. And I really firmly believe that this is where we are going to see Leon officially revealed. And there's a lot of people that still believe Leon is, or I say still believe, that are still convinced, which is understandable, that Leon is not in this game. That we've been bamboozled by fake leakers and fake rumors and all this stuff. And I totally get that because it is kind of crazy, isn't it? It's kind of crazy to think that Leon would be the biggest marketing for this game and would probably be a difference maker in selling potentially millions of units, potentially, or at least hundreds of thousands of units, and they still refuse to reveal him. However, I will say the marketing is kind of genius because these days when it comes to AAA games, the marketing cycles really don't truly ramp up until like a month or two before the game comes out, which I guess is not that abnormal, but that's just, marketing is very expensive. So they really saved the big marketing pop for the last couple of months. Now, if you look at the timing of the Game Awards in proximity to when Resident Evil Requiem launches, it launches in February, late February of next year. Now would be the time. Now would be the time where if you were trying to keep it a secret and you want to have a big pop, you will not have a bigger pop than showing Leon at the Game Awards. I think it's 100% going to happen. I'm ready. I believe. I refuse to believe anything else. I will say this, though. If we see this game at the Game Awards, well, not if, when we see this game at the Game Awards, if Leon still isn't revealed, then I will believe, then I'm wrong. He's not in the game, and I will take the L. We have been bamboozled. I've been very bamboozled. I will be flabbergasted. But I believe. So it's happening. And the question, I think, is how are they going to do it? And the reason I'm asking this is because if you remember when we were seeing Resident Evil 9 at, what was it, Summer Game Fest? It was either Summer Game Fest or Gamescom. I can't remember which one. I think it was Summer Game Fest. Jeff was messing with us and trolling us, and so was Capcom. We're like, oh, we're here to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Resident Evil. We're going to be celebrating it next year. And they were like advertising their other games, and they're like, okay, we're still working on Resident Evil 9. See you later. We'll show it when it's ready. And everybody was really upset. And obviously, we now know that Jeff was coming back. He was saving it for, wait, hold on, we got one more thing. And Capcom was like, psych, here you go. Here's the Resident Evil 9 trailer. And it was awesome. I loved stuff like that. I think we could see something like that happen again, where I think you should prepare yourself. And if I was Capcom, I would absolutely do it this way. You're going to see a trailer. You're going to see Resident Evil. Well, maybe it won't happen this way because, come to think of it, this would be extremely expensive. Unless Jeff Keighley gives him a discount because he wants to have some fun. You could see them come out and be like, here's Resident Evil 9. And everyone's like, Leon's here. And then it's just another trailer that pretty much shows us everything we've already seen. Maybe a couple new glimpses of Grace. And that's it. And everybody's losing their minds. They're like, oh my God, there's no Leon. What happened? And then they do it again. Jeff will do it again. It's like, wait, we got one more thing. And it's the big Leon reveal I don't know if it would be the closer, but at the end. You can't go back to Raccoon City without any survivors. Yeah, right? I mean, come on, Radic. You're calling out the obvious here. Which is good. That we need to call that out going into this, because it's like, yeah, how are you going to go back to Raccoon City and not bring back any of the original cast? Come on. Marketing to get more viewers to tune in and watch it, be shown towards the end to keep everyone tuned in. Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. Yeah, I mean, that's like actually, that just might be the play. Whiskey, right? Just here you go. We told you it's happening. Now you sit and you wait. You sit and you wait. You watch this whole show. I will watch that whole show. I'm very excited though, man. I've heard some really interesting things about the combat in Resident Evil 9, and I've heard that the combat is very brutal, very intense, and actually shares some similarities with the combat in The Last of Us Part 2, which is a very fascinating comparison to me. You think Sony has the marketing rights? I actually don't think so. I don't think anybody has the marketing rights. I was very surprised this year to see that Resident Evil 9, as far as I'm aware, didn't show up, I think, at all at any stated plays. And there was seemingly some kind of long-term agreement that Sony had with Capcom for Resident Evil where it lasted from like 2015 until like 2024 or something, or maybe this year it expired. But yeah, I was kind of surprised to see that there's just no Sony side marketing here. And I also wonder, knowing that you can play the entirety of Resident Evil 9 in first person, if there's going to be a PSVR 2 version. I mean, I'll tell you what, a lot of PSVR 2 players, especially after experiencing Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8, and Resident Evil 4 remake in VR, they're going to be expecting that. But another question I have with Capcom and the Resident Evil franchise is, I know this is a bit random, but multiplayer. I'm just saying that Capcom has not they refuse to give up, which I respect to a degree. They refuse to give up with trying to make somewhat successful multiplayer Resident Evil experiences. And I feel like it's been a little while since we've seen another multiplayer attempt. They did the RE-verse, which is so weird. I think that's shut down. They did that asymmetric one that released with Resident Evil 3 Remake. They did that other one, I don't even remember what it was called. It was like you played as Umbrella's soldiers, and it was like it was supposed to be like a competitive shooter almost. That didn't work. And pretty much nothing they've done in the multiplayer space has worked. What I find fascinating is that Resident Evil 9 is the first game, I believe, in the series, or at least mainline game, that's referencing Resident Evil Outbreak and Outbreak survivors. And one of the Outbreak survivors, Alyssa, is in this game as the mother of Grace. I just wonder if, I don't know, I just wonder if they have something cooking on top of Resident Evil 9, because it always seems like Capcom has multiple irons in the fire with Resident Evil. We know that they're doing more remakes. We know that they're doing apparently a remake for Resident Evil 0. They're doing a remake for Resident Evil Code Veronica. So maybe that's it. Maybe they're just kind of spread thin in that sense, where they have the main games and then the remakes. But yeah, I've always been thinking about Resident Evil Outbreak, man. And those games I feel were truly like ahead of their time to a degree, where they were not perfect, they were flawed, but Capcom did an excellent job of capturing the classic Resident Evil feel in a multiplayer environment without it feeling like something radically different. It really did feel like classic Resident Evil. I don't think they could, if they were to make another Outbreak game, I don't think they could replicate that exactly. They would have to do something that aligns more with the remakes and, the modern Resident Evil games. So it would be quite the challenge. But man, could you imagine if they announced like Outbreak 3 or reimagining? I mean, could they give Resident Evil Outbreak the true remake treatment? I don't know. I think that would kind of break the game, and I think that's the problem. I mean, if they were to do a remake of Outbreak, it would have to be on the level of what we've seen with like Resident Evil 2, and that's going to be really challenging. That's going to be a massive upheaval, because there were so many unique environments in the Outbreak games. I mean, the Outbreak games really explored different areas of Raccoon City, and that's what makes it so cool. And it would be amazing to see an Outbreak remake, because you would get to see the different aspects of Raccoon City explored. I mean, there was like a level, I think, in Resident Evil Outbreak 2 where you were at the freaking zoo, you know, with all these infected animals. And it's just so cool. It's so cool, man. I remember like in Resident Evil Outbreak 1, there was this level where you're in the hospital and there's like this leech monster. And I'm like, this is incredible. So stuff like that. I know I'm getting a little bit far away from Resident Evil 9 itself, but I just do wonder if, because we're getting close to the launch of Resident Evil 9, if we're going to find out that there's some kind of multiplayer experience that they've been cooking up as well. Because one of the things that they do talk about, I believe, or they did talk about, is how Resident Evil 9 started as a multiplayer experience and it wasn't working out. And like they tried to do like co-op, they tried to add these different multiplayer like aspects to it, but it just wasn't working. But yeah, it's going to be at the Game Awards, guys. And I think this is a time to get excited. I think if you're a Leon fan, I think if you've been waiting for that Leon reveal, it's not often that I would tell you guys to get excited and hype things up these days, but I think this is it. I think Capcom's going to deliver, and I think Resident Evil 9 has the chance to maybe be the game of the show based on that Leon reveal if it happens. I think it's possible. People are going to go nuts. RE4 Remake sold over 10 million, RE7 sold 16 million copies, and RE2 Remake sold over 16 million. It's impressive. It's impressive numbers. Yeah, the Resident Evil series is still going strong, and I love Resident Evil. I'm always rooting for it. Monster Hunter World and Iceborne sold 43 million copies. Jeez, man, 43 million? That's crazy. And we have Delwyn Hype Man Jones. What's going on, Delwyn? He says, what's up, MBG? How's your PS Portal going so far? I played Spider-Man Miles Morales. The performance is insane. I don't believe it's going to be God of War Egypt for the Game Awards. I would love to be wrong, but I am here for whatever game it is. The Portal's still been nice, Delwyn. I have to admit that like I'm not using it that much because it's one of these things where, I look at it and I'm like, do I want to play this right now? And I could. Like, the other night, I was like, you know what? I don't really want to play in this space. I just want to take the Portal and I just want to go chill on the sofa and hang out with Mrs. MBG and play out there. And that's what I did. But, you know, my experience with the Portal has been very solid so far. And I did move my router a little bit, by the way. I was telling you guys I was having some connectivity issues because I think of the placement of my router. I did move it, and ever since I did that, my connection has been much stronger. So I think that was what was causing the big problem. But yeah, the Portal definitely has gotten me excited to see what this PlayStation 6 handheld is going to be like, because the Portal experience has been great. And it's like, dude, you know, knowing that the only flaw here is you're at the mercy of an internet connection, I think Sony's going to cook with the PS6 handheld. Absolutely. Very, very excited to see that. And yeah, man, Miles Morales was a really fun game. I agree with you. I don't think that what's being teased for the Game Awards is God of War Egypt. The only thing I'm not 100% convinced of yet, as much as I want to be, I still think there is a chance. Now, I don't want people to think that my hopes are high and I think it's going to be real, because I'm not feeling that way. But I think there is a possibility that this statue could be teasing Cory Barlog's next game. And this game, like, the reason why people are so convinced it's God of War and the symbolism on it is God of War is because it is. But Cory's next game is not going to be called God of War. It's going to be Atreus' game. And it's going to be a spinoff or like a whole new established series in the God of War universe where it's starring Atreus. It's in that universe, hence why so many people believe it is God of War based on the symbolism and what they're seeing. But it's actually not. Like, for example, when Cory Barlog says it's not God of War, he's not lying. He's telling you the truth. It's not God of War. It's God of Mischief, or it's something else. Insert whatever name you want, but it is Atreus' game. And that's what Cory's been working on this whole time. I'm putting that out here simply because we have not heard from Santa Monica in a long time. And Cory Barlog's been working on his game for a very long time. And Cory Barlog just came out of the woodwork after being silent. I mean, he's been completely radio silent. Just to say, it's not GOW. So I know I'm getting excited, and I'm like, basically the tone of my voice is probably starting to hype people up. But keep in mind, this absolutely could be something that, this could be something that is very underwhelming and leaves people going like, oh. So, keep your expectations tempered, I would say. Temperance is needed. Breaking news, Nuru said that we will have GTA 6 news next week. Oh, by the way, Delwyn, thank you so much for the super chat, bro. I appreciate it. Yeah, things have been slow going here, and I just want to take a moment to really emphasize how much I appreciate those of you who've been supporting the channel. It's the holiday season, and things are getting kind of crazy out there in the world. So for those of you who've still been dropping member gifts, keeping your memberships each month, becoming members, dropping super chats, direct donations, I really, really, really appreciate it. Seriously. I'm really glad that I'm still able to do this and you guys still make it possible. And I'm really glad you guys still show up to hang out. So thank you, sincerely. But yes, I don't know who Nuru is. Who is this? Is this a reliable GTA leaker? Because this is kind of a big deal if it is. I'm looking now. I mean, I'm referring to the Gaming Leaks Rumor subreddit to see if there's anything there. I'm not seeing anything. Who is this person? Who's Nuru? I'm looking it up, seeing if I can find anything. I can't find anything. You'll have to tell me. Right, but it's still the God of War franchise. Yeah, well, again, like Jason Schreier said Cory Barlog's new game is not a new IP, but it will feel like a new IP. And the end of God of War Ragnarok made it very clear that Atreus is going on his own journey. And Kratos is like, I believe in you, son, and I trust you, and I think you're ready. And, I'm letting you leave the nest, so to speak. So, I don't know. If all the secrecy and teasing from the Game Awards and Jeff end up being something underwhelming, it wouldn't be good for anyone involved. I agree. I do agree with that, Jack, and that's why it's hard not to pay attention to the statue, because I'm like, this is, not only is this expensive, this is garnering a lot of attention. A lot. So it's got to be something, dude. It's got to be something significant. But I'm just preparing myself to find out. It's like, nope. It's just a smaller dev that blew their entire marketing budget on this. You know what they say? All publicity is good publicity, right? She's a great GTA source. I've never heard of this person. Are they a YouTuber or... I've never heard of this source for GTA. Or you're messing with me. I don't know. You could be trolling me. I don't think we're going to... But I don't want to say I don't think we're going to see GTA 6. We still have the entire month of December, but I don't know. We've been getting a lot of crazy rumors lately. We've been getting crazy rumors about Half-Life 3, GTA 6. It's like, I don't know anymore. Bloodborne 2 confirmed. The great ones are silent. The Born bleeds. New hunt stirs. Oh, that is some hopium if I've ever seen it. Let me see what people are coming up with. The half are silent. Life bleeds. New 3-star. Okay. I'm telling you, man. I just have this deep rooted feeling. Like, I'm not even trying to be negative. I just have this feeling. It's like my future self is trying to communicate to me, like, it's something disappointing. It's not a big game. Jeff Keighley was paid a lot of money to hype this up. I'm telling you, I just get that feeling, man. I'm trying to listen to my future self. Cory only stated it's not GOW, so as long as the title is not GOW, it fits. That's so funny to me. That's so funny to me. Like, if it turns out it is his game, that's going to be so funny. We're going to look back and be like, he got us again. That son of a bitch. He did it. He did it. Only Cory Barlog would do this. Jeff's reputation would take a massive hit if what they're hinting at somehow isn't big. Well, maybe the idea, think of this too. Maybe the idea is it's okay if it's not something big, because there are going to be massive games at the Game Awards that have nothing to do with the statue and no one's going to care. You get what I'm saying? It's like, as long as Jeff delivers in the show as a whole, then he can get away with almost anything. So, like, if we find out that this statue is actually an ad for, like, Kojima's second podcast or something, you know, where he's podcasting from hell or something. I don't know. It's like a portal to hell. If that's what this is, it's okay as long as the show actually delivers. Where it's like, you know what? Who cares about that stupid statue? We got this, this, and that. And that's all that matters. I don't know. I don't know. We will see. So much of this is we will find out. I got here late. Did you see we are getting a Michael update for GTA Online? I saw a glimpse of that, and that was really fascinating to me. Let me see if I can find it. So Rockstar Games, I'm on their Twitter. They announced prime luxury real estate for those who've reached the highest rungs of the criminal ladder arrives, on December 10th in GTA Online, a safe house in the hills. A monumental update also features a new action-packed adventure, new vehicles to collect, and much more. And yeah, the image has Michael, which is surprising to see and actually kind of cool. So is he going to be like giving out missions for you, I would assume? They don't really say much about it in the blog post. Some people think we're going to see Michael in GTA 6. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like that. Didn't they bring like Trevor back at some point as well? And Franklin? Early 90s Gamer says, no, I don't think the statue is something small, MBG. It's getting way too much attention. I guess it depends on what you mean by small. Right? I think it's safe to say it's not an indie game, like a small indie game. Yeah, I agree with that. But as for whether or not it's going to be, like, the first thing that I think people jump to is this is a massive publisher with a massive AAA game that's going to, like, blow your socks off, you know? I don't know that it's going to, I'm not convinced it's that. It could be like a not to be like offensive, but a more mid-tier developer that's not necessarily seen as like the biggest AAA dev, where they're like kind of big, but not, you know what I mean? Like they're not, like it's not going to be a Bethesda Elder Scrolls. It's not going to be a Sony Santa Monica. It's not going to be something like that. Skull and Bones 2. Oh, I think you got it. Dude, that would be so awesome. I would love that. If they're like, bro, this is a Ubisoft statue, and it's for somehow Skull and Bones 2. Somehow Skull and Bones returned. That'd be amazing. That'd be so good, dude. I would be all for that. Just because I'd love to see the meltdowns, man. We got Skull and Bones 2 before GTA 6. What's going on? How did we get here? Well, I mean, there's no denying that there's more than enough speculation going around as to what this is, and I want to keep speculating about it, and I think we naturally will continue to talk about it. That's the interesting thing, is by the Game Awards Twitter account posting underneath the picture of the statue that Jeff Keighley put today with blanks to be filled in, I think that, you know, this is what it posted, and, you know, the blanks, the blank are silent, blank bleeds, new blank stir. Like, I feel like, yeah, they clearly want us to continue to talk about this. They want us to continue to speculate and guess. And so this is an intentional game that's being played. And oh man, I don't know. It still could be something from Software. It's Dead Space 2. I'm going to say no, I don't think it's Dead Space 2. I think the most likely candidates here, based off of everything we know, the most likely candidates are probably, we're looking at Path of Exile 2, God, what's that game? You guys were mentioning it earlier. Why am I drawing a blank on it? The Dark Souls-like game, Lords of the Fallen 2. I got it. Don't worry. Don't type it. Lords of the Fallen 2. I think it could also be From Software. I think it could be Cory's new game. And I think it could be a new IP. I think those are the 5 most likely candidates based off of everything that's been whittled down. That's that's the best I got, you know. If it's Lords of the Fallen 2, I will quit the internet. Dude, people are so upset at the idea of it being Lords of the Fallen 2. People are really upset about that. And I kind of get it. Like, they already revealed Lords of the Fallen 2, I believe. Didn't they? That's probably what it is. I bet you that's what it is. I think if I had to put in my final guess, I think that's what it is. I think they paid Jeff a lot of money. I think that they were like, we want all eyes on our game. And they put a large marketing budget. Lords of the Fallen is amazing. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad game. I think they've improved it a lot from what I've heard since launch, but I don't know. Did the first one flop? I didn't really pay too close attention to the sales or anything, so I'm not sure. Can't really determine, you know. It was atrocious to play. I did have trouble with it, yeah. I gave it a chance. Some of it was really good, but the overall feel of the game, like I said, I just couldn't do it. Never played Path of Exile. So I've seen quite a few people say that that's what they believe it is. By the way, guys, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to stream for like another 15 minutes. I think I'm going to take it to the 3-hour mark, and that's where we will wrap it up. We still have 120 people here watching. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Do me a favor and hit that like button. We're at 118 likes. Every like helps. And yeah, we'll do like a final call here. If you want to drop any more support, you'll have 15 more minutes to do so. We will be back, if not tomorrow, certainly Sunday with another stream as well. But yeah, if you want to contribute to any of the goals today, we're sitting at 3 out of 10 super chats. So we'll see if we can increase that before time's up. We're at 26 members. And yeah, it's up to you if you want to drop any more. All of it is appreciated. If it's Lords of the Fallen devs, I think they're regretting it now, too afraid to come out to claim it, and too late to back out of the marketing. The 2.0 update made major improvements. That's what I heard, Whiskey. Yeah, I heard that the devs like took all the feedback in and were like, okay, we're gonna make some pretty significant overhauls. I never went back to play it, but I don't know. I don't know if I would play the sequel now that I think about it. I'm not sure. I feel pretty particular these days about Souls-like games. Like, the game that I really hope shows up, I'm not sure it will, but it would be great to see show up at the Game Awards, and maybe we'll talk more about it when I do my predictions episode, is the sequel to Lies of P. Lies of P is one of my all-time favorite games, man. That game was incredible, and I know that the director of the game recently said that, don't worry, like, we will not disappoint you with Lies of P 2, and I'm like, music to my ears, man. Lies of P is probably the best Souls-like I've played. Truly. It's so good. And that's the thing. I still haven't played the DLC. I really got to get around to that. The only thing that's been kind of not turning me off to it per se, but making me very hesitant is because I know I'm going to have to, if I'm not mistaken, the DLC I think is harder than the main game, and I'm going to have to probably take a fair amount of time to get reacquainted with the game. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure you have to, like, it just carries you into the DLC, right? So it's not like you're starting over. No, I don't play Hitman, Carlos, but that's so funny that Slim Shady's in it. That is funny. Yeah, that was shocking to see. We were watching, I think that was the Xbox show, the Xbox partner preview event. That was pretty funny. Like, I mean, that just came out of nowhere. Lords of the Fallen 2 doesn't equate to, quote, something good, from Jason Schreier. Well, I mean, Jason, among other insiders, they still have plenty of time to shoot down other games. And I will say, it is quite telling to me. I know this is the hopium. It's fine. PlayStation fanboy hopium. Absolutely. But it is quite telling to me that he did say, hey, it's not Diablo. I'm letting you know it's not Diablo. And then after that, he's like, I'm also letting you know it's not Elder Scrolls. And the reason why Jason seemingly shot both of these games down was because of how hyped up the fan bases were getting. And he's like trying to let you know, like, it's not that. Like, calm down. He didn't do that for God of War. And I find that fascinating because so many, like, you could make an argument that the God of War fan base are the ones getting the most hyped over this. The only person that came out to say it's not GOW is Cory freaking Barlog, bro. I'm keeping my expectations tempered. I'm just telling it like it is. I'm just telling you what the situation is, okay? Lies of P has an easy mode. Oh, yeah, I forgot they added that. I love how they added an easy mode after I have to beat the game on New Game Plus and defeat the optional final boss on New Game Plus to get that platinum. Oh, my God. People have been talking about Elden Ring, too. It's either Elden Ring or God of War for me. I mean, both would justify a statue in the desert and this much hype. Both would justify it. If it's the next God of War, dude, like, if that's actually just what it is and Cory just flat out lied, that would be so funny and amazing. I mean, come on, bro. The next God of War. Can't wait to see that. Kratos back at it. Fortnite is my new Lies of P. Wait, what? Did you cover the new DualSense? It's claimed for 15 hours better than the Edge. No, I haven't yet. When I make my next PlayStation news video, I'll probably cover that. I did see that, though, and that's great news, if true. That's actually fantastic. You have like 100 hours in Hitman 3. The game is really well put together. I've heard good things. Carlos, you're saying Hitman 3 is addicting? Yeah, I never really played the Hitman games. That's one of those blind spots for me. I've heard good things over the years. There's quite a few different series that I've just never played before, and there's like no particular reason for my avoiding them. It's just, I don't know. This on the surface level, something's not speaking to me. But I've heard very good things. Maybe one day. Hitman is good. It's a good time, MBG. I highly recommend it. I probably would really enjoy it too, because I like Metal Gear and I like stealth games. It's probably one of those games where it's like, dude, you don't know what you're missing. Oh, by the way, there's one other thing I got to tell you guys. Totally forgot to cover this. We have another rumor. I don't know how excited people are going to be for this, but Curacasis, Curacasis, who is a somewhat reliable, I think they're a pretty reliable leaker. They've gotten stuff correct before. I remember they were the person that leaked Lego Horizon. Curacasis said on Twitter, a big Star Wars game announcement is coming very soon. It's not Star Wars Zero Company or Star Wars Eclipse. So a lot of people are thinking it's either going to be Battlefront 3 or KOTOR Remake. And I will say KOTOR Remake has been... That game was announced with a teaser trailer as the opening. It was the opening announcement for the PlayStation 2021 September showcase, bro. That game's been in some trouble development-wise, I believe. But I think they've switched development teams a couple years ago. I'll tell you what, though, a Battlefront 3 would be really exciting. It's a shame because Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2 was a great game, but it was pretty much destroyed by EA making some boneheaded decisions with the monetization of it that really just, I think, stopped it from reaching its full potential, even just from like a public-facing standpoint. So KOTOR Remake was locked in to be a PlayStation exclusive game, at the very least a console exclusive. However, there's been some reporting since that apparently Sony has distanced itself from the project and basically just kind of walked away from it. And apparently one of the reasons why there were development problems and the development team changed, who was it that was making it? I think it was, I think Saber Interactive is the one developing it now, right? And the original developer was Aspyr. So Aspyr Entertainment was the one developing KOTOR Remake, and behind the scenes, apparently Sony was not happy. Sony and whoever else was involved, I think it was Embracer Group, I believe, they were not happy with the way the game was turning out. And after that, the development team was shifted to Saber Interactive. And since then, I mean, who knows? Maybe Sony is still going to be involved, or maybe they'll renegotiate something if it turns out good under Saber. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure, but as of right now, it is still in development, KOTOR Remake that is, and it is being worked on by Saber Interactive. But that could be the big Star Wars game. I'm shocked we're not going to see Star Wars Eclipse. I mean, dude, like that game was announced how many years ago? What's up with these Star Wars games, man? They get announced and then you just like never see them. I can't see its Divinity... I can see it's Divinity Origins 3. Baldur's Gate 3 was big for Larian. Their next project bound to announce soon, as they love to do early beta testing access and leading a game to launch years later. Yeah, multiple people are saying that they believe this statue is related to Larian's next game. And that would make a lot of sense. You can imagine it's about time for them to maybe announce their next project. It's been a couple years. They said their next title was going to be an action RPG instead of turn-based. That really, I didn't know that. That's fascinating to me. I had no idea. There's a rumor of Jedi 3, but it might have been debunked. Yeah, that's the other one too. Star Wars Jedi Survivor 3, or I guess just Jedi 3 is what you would call it. Yeah, I mean, it feels like it would be about time for that to be revealed too, so I guess we'll see. We'll know soon enough. Let's go see if there's anything else I missed. What's this? Somebody says the new DualSense has noticeable input lag compared to the launch DualSense. After using my original DualSense controller that came with the launch PS5 for 5 years, it was time to get a fresh one during Black Friday. Unfortunately, I noticed input lag right away, very noticeable when navigating the PS5 menus. And in games, of course, switched back and forth comparing the two controllers. The launch controller is pinpoint accurate, almost as if using a wired connection. The new controller definitely suffers from input lag. Replacement orders on the way, but I don't have any faith whatsoever. I assume it's some downgraded component, like an inferior Bluetooth chip compared to the original. Somebody said, I think it's your controller. I've never had any input lag whatsoever. Somebody said, did you make sure the controller's fully up to date? Yeah, this is news. I think it's probably that guy's controller. Gaming Survivor, unfortunately, we are ending the stream in 3 minutes, bro. I'm sorry. You came in at the wrong time. Gaming Survivor, wrong time, bro. We've been mostly PlayStation positive today. Gaming Survivor, drop 20 membership gifts and maybe I'll go another 15 minutes. You know what? That's what I'll do. Here we go. This is it. This is the final call. You have 2 minutes to drop any member gifts. 1 member gift gets you 5 minutes. 5 member gifts gets you 10. 20, I'll give you 20 minutes. I'll give you 20 full minutes. I'll give you another 30 minutes. 50 will get you another hour. So there you go. But no, Gaming Survivor, we were talking mostly positively today about PlayStation, but I just came across that random Reddit post where this person was complaining about input lag or whatever, and people were basically saying, like, it seems like you may have gotten like a defective DualSense and you're going to have to turn it 6 a.m. stream. You came in with violence energy. Oh, man. Okay. Well, it's all good, bro. Today was a good stream. Much better than yesterday. By the way, guys, make sure you're hitting that like button. 2 more likes and we hit 125. I'd appreciate it. I realized I didn't put a thumbnail out for my stream today. So I'm going to have to make one after we're wrapped up here. Radic, you're heading out. Well, thanks for listening in, man. I appreciate it. Again, Gaming Survivor, I apologize that we're going to be ending it so soon. Tarnished. Yeah, I'm wrapping it up in just a minute here. Tarnished like, no. Yeah, Tarnished is still trying to get that membership. Still trying. And pushing no way, dude. I'm genuinely flabbergasted. I used that word twice today. Pushing Polygons comes in and he drops a 5 bomb on you guys. He's like, I need another, what did I say? I said 10 minutes. I said another 10 minutes for 5. That's what I said, right? Pushing Polygons, you hold me to it. I forget what I said already. I said 10 minutes. Okay. Well, there you go. Tarnished, Gaming Survivor, Pushing Polygons is like, I got you. Getting another 10 more minutes out here. No, I do appreciate that, Pushing Polygons. You didn't have to do that, bro, but I really appreciate it. Thank you. And he brings us up to 31 members. So you guys, now that I said that, you guys are going to get this crazy member train going, and I'm going to have to sit here for another 2.5 hours, aren't I? Thank you. Thank you for the membership gifts today, guys. It means a lot. The past week and a half has been strange, man. I have to tell you. I've seen like I don't want to say like a downturn on my channel, but because that sounds like pretty bad, but it's just generally speaking, like it just seems like something happened in the last week and a half where I don't know if it's like a dearth of gaming news or, it is the holiday season, excuse me. People are getting, they're very busy. Everybody's maybe crunching for their upcoming holiday. They got to get all their work done. So any support you guys have been showing, I really, really do appreciate. It means a lot. Thank you. And Pushing Polygons, you've been dropping more membership gifts lately, man. I've noticed. I appreciate that, man. And we will have more members content. So I'll let you guys know. I'm not going to really be hyping it up too much until we get to probably next Sunday. Not even this upcoming Sunday, but I will let you know that we're going to be doing like a Christmas special Morning with the Misses, probably on, let me see. I think it'll be Thursday the 18th. It's either going to be Thursday the 18th or Friday the 19th. I think we're aiming for Thursday. It'll be a Christmas special Morning with the Misses where I'm going to set a goal that week. It's going to be a large goal. It's got to be. Because if I hit it, I'm going to have to dress as Santa Claus. And Mrs. MBG will dress as Mrs. Claus. We'll see. We'll see. We got time, but yeah, Christmas special Morning with the Misses. You know it's got to happen. Am I going to stream tomorrow, Tarnished? I don't know. It's up in the air. Right now, I'm going to say don't bank on it, just because I normally take Saturdays off, and I want to make sure that I don't. I always take Saturdays off because I want to make sure there's like good topics for Sunday. But I don't know, man. Sometimes like there's football season. Like right now it's football season. I almost wonder if streaming on Saturdays would be better than Sundays. Because I notice I lose a lot of viewership to people watching football, which is expected. And I'm used to that by this point. But I almost wonder if sometimes Saturdays would be better. But we'll see. We'll see. Just make sure I would say if I'm not live on the channel at 12 or 1 p.m., I'm probably not going live that day. Or if there's some kind of breaking news. Delwyn, you're saying Santa Sony. You love the Sundays, Delwyn. Yeah, I like doing Sundays as well. I'm so used to it. But I occasionally do a Saturday stream. The thing I try to avoid is streaming 7 days a week. That's kind of extreme. I feel like sometimes I feel that I do stream too much. I think sometimes people get sick of me, and I get that. I have to maximize my opportunity for, super chats and member gifts, but at the same time, I try not to force it too much where it's like, that's why weeks where there's really low amounts of news, it can be a bit of a struggle because it's like I want to justify a stream, but I don't want to just be like, hey guys, like, what do you want to talk about today? I feel bad anytime. It doesn't really happen that often, but when it does, I feel bad because it's like, well, I want to try to bring energy to the shows as much as I can. That's why yesterday, like I had to unlist that stream because I'm like, dude, I was not well. My head was not well. I don't know what was up with that. I think I had like an allergic reaction or something. But I was like, I just need to rest today. And I should have just listened to that. My gut was telling me, like, just chill. Just chill. It's fine. Don't forget the eggnog and mulled wine and cider. I love eggnog. I got some eggnog in the fridge right now, bro. Sorry, MBG, but football takes priority. The Seahawks. The Seahawk Tuas. You could tell I was supposed to end the stream like 5 minutes ago. The Seahawks are looking good this year. Yeah, I haven't followed football in years, man. I just can't do it anymore. Oh, that's true. That's true, Pushing Polygons. You got NFL on Sunday and then college football on Saturday. Very true. Yeah. So, yeah, it doesn't really matter. For the day when you unmod me, what is this? What is this, Gaming Survivor? Do I want to know? Is this a song?
And what was the result of the computer check of the DNA coding?
I can't play it, bro. I can't play it. It has music playing in the background. It gets copyrighted every time. But absolutely. Absolutely, Gaming Survivor. I am the law. Amazing. MBG AI companies are using all the computing power in the world to a point that our computers are so slow and weak. so we'll begin to depend on theirs. Cloud computing, future accelerated 10 years ahead. Oh, geez. Thanks to AI, absolute nightmare scenario. Yeah, but what are you going to do, Tarnished, you know? There's got to be some positive to extract from it, right? Right? It's all about perspective. So they say. That sounded like a female Mark Cerny. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know if they make... I don't know. Can AI do that for us? Can AI remove the music and just extract the quote? Extract the voice? I mean, surely you could do that. I don't even think you would need AI to do that, right? Chris, what's up? Chris, Pushing Polygons bought you guys 10 more minutes. Where are we at on that? So we have about, I think you got 3.5 minutes, Chris. So enjoy it. College football is practically over. I'm still glad you could tune in, though, man. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what to do for the Game Awards stream, you know? Like, I don't know if I want to do multiple streams that day. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I want to just, like, save my energy and go live at, like, 5 o'clock or something and just lock in for, like, 6 or 7 hours straight. I'm not sure. Either way, I'll be streaming it. Do one stream 8 hours long. I was thinking about doing a really long one. How do we feel about retro gaming content? I can sometimes appreciate it. I watch this one channel. What's his name? Let me see if I can find the name of the YouTuber. He does some retro stuff. His name is Austin Eruption. I hate that name, but that's his name. And he does a lot of different videos where he explores like older games. And I think his whole thing is he's known for like just highlighting games that you maybe forgot about or didn't know about across all these different generations. And I've really grown fond of his channel where I appreciate a lot of the stuff he's showing. And it's interesting because he plays a lot of these games too. And he'll like do like mini reviews of them, like telling you what they're like. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So I definitely, I mean, in terms of me doing retro content, I don't think I would do it because it's just not my forte. I don't really go back and do retro gaming. Maybe one day when I'm older, I will. Like much older, I'm sure I will. For, you know, PS5 retro gaming. But yeah, I do appreciate watching some retro gaming content. A long stream would be good for super chats. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of, Polygons. You're saying you should go live later. You'll fall off by the end when you start at noon. That's what I'm most afraid of. Is like I will do like a 10 or 12 hour stream or some crazy stuff, like some crazy number like that. And then when it gets to the like actual important part, like the meat and potatoes, where it's like, here it is. I'm like, guys, I'm kind of tired. I'm afraid of that. I mean, I was thinking like maybe we could do like 2 streams, right? Like I could do one normal stream like we are right now. That's 2-3 hours. And then I'll take a multi-hour break to, you know, make sure I'm well fed, make sure I'm well hydrated, ready to go. And then we go live for like another 4 or 5 hours for the Game Awards. You know, but having that kind of break in between, because I get that way, man. Like if I stream for too long, I just start to feel horrible. And I guess it's just from sitting down for so long and not moving around, not doing anything. MEG, man up. Go for 12 hours, you snowflake. Dude, I'm telling you, I don't know what I would be like at the end of a 12-hour stream, but I don't think I would be pleasant. I think you guys would be asking me to end the stream. Like, guys, you'd be like, MEG, it's okay, man, just go. Like, we're going to pay you to leave now. But guys, that is the end of your 10 minutes. Last call. One more membership. Get you 5 minutes. 5 will get you 10. I'll give it like 30 seconds in case anybody actually wants to do that. A 5 hour members lounge. People can't drop member gifts in the members lounge. And I really think that's something YouTube needs to change. You know? Oh, boss, dude. Boss just farted on me. All right, that's it. It's over. This show's canceled. We're out. Dude, get out. You smell. Oh, my God. Dude. Boss, are you serious? Wow. Okay, I think boss just crop dusted me, bro. Are you? All right. Well, guys, this will be a good place to wrap up the stream. I think at this point it's necessary to wrap it up. Skunk mode, boss, yeah. Really appreciate you guys tuning in today. Again, I know things are a little bit slow right now, so the fact that you guys are still showing up, still viewing the videos, the streams, hanging out, and especially those of you showing support. If you dropped any member gifts today, if you became a channel member, if you dropped any super chats or direct donations, you are the sponsors of the channel. You guys are powering the channel, and I simply could not do it without that support. So thank you so much for that. And I also want to make sure to give a shout out to Devil Shooter. He does the timestamps for the streams. If you guys see Devil Shooter in the comments with those timestamps, show him some love. Give him some thanks. I know he appreciates it. Devil Shooter, thank you for what you do, man. You do a great job with the timestamps. And the only other request I have of you is as you're filing out and leaving, if you haven't, make sure you hit that like button on your way out. And that's it. So there we go. Thank you for tuning in to another Press X podcast episode. I have to make a thumbnail for this stream because I forgot to do that. But Hellbound, take care, man. Gaming Survivor. Don't get in any trouble. Prince, have a good one. The one reeler. I can never read your name right. But either way, guys, enjoy the rest of your day, evening, or night. That does it for me. I will catch you guys in the next stream. So until then, take care, everyone.